All right, we should be live.
Sweet.
So, hopefully Brian is able to join us here in a little bit. He's having a couple connection issues, but welcome back to another episode of Power Bourbon. We are excited. So we have one of our favorite Patreon members, Ed, on, and we Chuck and I sent him 4 samples of bourbon. We also sent them to Brian, so neither of them know what it is. But they will be good samples because Chuck and I picked them. I made sure, Chuck didn't send anything too crazy, but so that's what we're going to do with a couple of our Patreons every quarter is just kind of share the love. So, So we're going to start here with sample number 1 there, Ed.
All right. Let me grab it and
all right, things are worked out here.
Hey, Brian.
Oh man, I show up, Ed leaves. Is that what happens here?
No, he's just prepared.
He's pouring. This is pouring like bourbon.
Oh, this is like prom and homecoming all over again.
There we go. All right. Brian, how are you?
Hey, Ed. Good to see you, man.
You too, buddy.
Or meet you for the first time.
Right.
Sorry, we were rushing around. We had a family birthday and then trying to put our 2-year-old daughter down.
That's always a challenge.
Yeah, she's apparently been watching too much TV on like activism and, silent protest and peaceful protest or all those things. And so she's figured out how to do her own little sit-ins and cry-ins or I guess crawl out of the crib-ins or whatever we want to call them.
Nice.
So it's a good time. So
she's pretty.
My wife's biting that bullet for me right now. So I got to give a shout out to her. What did you say?
I said you got number 1 there.
I do. Do I need to mix these around?
Nope. You're going 1, 2, 3, and 4.
They're blind to you, so
they are. That's true.
So TJ and I get to have a little fun because we know exactly what they are. But
very, very similar color profiles. So I initially poured these to try to look and go, okay, can I tell anything on age? One of them's a little bit darker. Maybe,
they're all worth over 4 Hendersons. I'll give you that.
Ooh, 4 Hendersons. You got the good stuff. So
I don't know now, Brian. I mean, what are we gonna what to do, right?
I know, right? I'll just drink and try, I guess. Now, is that Henderson's before a coupon or after? Because I mean that can make a difference of 1 entire Henderson.
Wow.
We go full retail here.
Okay. They're fighting cock full retail versions, right?
Yes. Ooh.
So we're about $16. So we're looking.
Well, that's pushing it for Brian.
Ooh.
That's top shelf.
Ooh, 16.
That's full. That's a full week's allotment right there, right? 16.
Oh, for sure. I actually saw recently Old Foe 1920 actually for $59, and I was like, man, if I save up in my piggy bank for a month or 2, I might be able to buy half that bottle.
Oh, that's awesome. I saw. Was it? I think it was. There was a store in Carmel called Vine and Table, and they opened up it's called Bourbon World, and it's the whole back corner of the store. It's a huge selection, and they had Old Foe 1920. No joke, $44.95.
Nice.
Granted, I missed out because it probably sold out in 5 minutes. I mean, but that was one of their leader specials to come into their check it out. So
yeah, I've never seen or heard of it that low before. So
butterscotch is what I get here.
How about you, Brian?
Oh,
we're still on 1. Okay.
Yeah, we're still on 1.
I'm all frazzled. I'm just coming in. Yeah, maybe butterscotch, a little caramel.
Yep, definitely floral.
A little floral, yeah.
Getting some red fruit, some cherry, and a little bit of oak in the background.
I get a little bit of black coffee notes, to be honest.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like Folgers? Or are we talking good stuff?
We're talking good stuff. Though,
No.
if my bourbon budget keeps getting spent, I'm gonna have to go to Folgers pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be lucky if you can afford Folgers after what you did last weekend.
Ooh.
TJ made a trip to Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and his wife about sent him to heaven when he got home.
I saw the post.
I was impressed. So I came in, I was like, honey, I'm really sorry. I won't buy bourbon for a month. And then I pulled out the Old Fitz 16 year and she's like, you did good, son. I'm like, yes.
So I have only had one pour of Old Fitz, and it was Fitz, I think it was not a 9 year, and it was last year in Virginia, Bristol, Virginia, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not impressed. I didn't like it.
So the older or the younger ones, there have been a lot of questions about. Supposedly, though, the one that just came out, which is the 8 year, is better than anything else, including the 14, 15, and 16.
That's what I've heard, and that's what is Minnick went over it.
So Chuck and I have been lucky. I went down to Heaven Hill one time, and I got an Old Fitz 15. And then I went with these guys, and Chuck got the Old Fitz 16. So we blinded the 15, the 16, and my Pappy 15. And the Old Fitz.
I watched that.
Yeah, the Old Fitz took it, no question.
Yeah.
So
I had that in a flight with it was the Old Fitz 9, Willet Purple Top, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
And which I'm kind of a softie for. It was the Jack Daniel's Sinatra edition.
Okay.
That's good.
And for me, Old Fitz was last. The Willet was insane.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're going for crazy amounts now.
Right. When I Googled it, I told my girlfriend, I said, yeah, that's the only time I'll ever drink that. $900 for I think they're about $900.
Yes. So you can it depends on the age statement. You can find a couple for the low end now, which is about 300. But yeah, high end, you're talking 800-900. If you get to Willet, the distillery, they've got all of them on pour, but you're talking $50 for a 1 ounce sample.
Yeah.
At the distillery. So
go ahead, Brian.
I'm just thinking that's like 90 Hendersons, maybe more if you get a bulk rate deal, like and you just buy the whole case or truck.
Case nothing. That's a barrel.
Yeah, that's
buy the barrel. So, all right, we're going in.
All right.
I think just the last little bit on Old Fitz here. I think especially like the 16, I love it for what it is, but for one, it's 100 proof. And then it's also a weeder. And so if you put it, for me, my palate, if I put it up against anything that's barrel strength, that's a higher rye mash bill, like I'm going to take the barrel strength higher rye mash bill. It just doesn't hang. Yeah. But for what it is, a 16-year weeded 100 proof is delicious.
Is that bottled and bond?
Yes.
They're all bottled and bond, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But you get the sweet decanter with them. So, I mean.
Well, right. So you $50.
So that's worth $260 right there.
Well, you pay $60 for the juice and you get a $200 decanter.
What is it? It's better than the Woodford Reserve Baccarat, where it's $2,000 for the crystal decanter.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Is it like made of diamonds?
It's a Baccarat decanter, so it's like super special decanter, all crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are literally paying for the decanter.
It better be
anything else.
It better have diamonds encrusted.
No diamonds.
Whatever this is, it's fantastic.
Well, this you can find all over the place right now, and it's $60.
And there is, I'm getting like oak, cinnamon, that kind of I get when it comes to red, I get the like red apple kind of peel, but the cinnamon and oak are just, I mean, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The finish is long. It just really nice coats the mouth. It just sits there in the jowls.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really descend down.
I'll say the nose is probably a little bit sweeter on the nose. I'm not as big on the butterscotch nose in general. But the nose is probably a little bit sweeter than I typically like. But the rest of it comes together very nice.
Yeah.
I like the transition. It kind of surprises you because you smell that nose and it's sweet. Yeah.
Right.
And then it's like the rest of it, the palate and the finish go into that oak and the spice. And it's really it's a nice contrast.
It is.
And it may be off, but I feel like actually you get a little bit of a combo pepper cinnamon finish on the end.
I can be mean to you, Brian. You've had this.
This is Henry McKenna.
No.
No. I just drank McKenna.
No. I haven't had one since
the tournament.
Bottle Bond off. Yeah.
This is the Maker's Mark FAE01, the new limited.
Nice. Nice. I don't think I've had that one since we all drank it together either.
Yep.
Is it okay? Is it still findable in Kentucky?
Yeah, I just saw, I don't know, a case at Kroger and I think a case at Liquor Barn.
So I had a local store in Danville, Illinois, so closer to the Indiana border, just released today. Store? The Blue Store. Yep, exactly. Well, so they just had a case. Yeah, they've got really good selection.
They do, and they have some great store picks. Yeah, when I worked in Indiana, I worked a half hour from there, at the Duke Power Plant in Cayuga.
Okay.
So I would run up there and then check out what they had. But I saw this right when it first came out in a store in Indiana, and I kicked myself because I went ahead and bought a bottle of Bowman Port Finish instead. And now I've seen the reviews on this, and people are saying this is the best one yet.
It is.
Oh yeah, we agree. And I'm actually having flashbacks here. I actually am wondering, when we did this originally, if I rated the nose as the lowest part of this, as far as what I like the least. Actually, so it's interesting that I feel like the nose then and the nose now are what I like about it the least.
I would not. That is not a Maker's nose of any Makers I've ever smelled.
No.
Nose. But
I was going to say, there's no big cherry note on it.
Yeah, no cherry.
Oh, right.
No cherry.
Man, that's really good. Man, okay.
Do I need to save any of this?
Nope. You've got a bottle.
Well, I didn't know if I needed to keep a little bit for,
Yeah, you're welcome, Brian. I shipped you this.
I literally just showed up. As always, I show up.
Yep.
You're welcome.
That's fine. That's awesome. Well done on the first one. That's really good.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
I know there's something in here that's total garbage, though. I know there's got to be. And no, I've no doubt you guys sent Ed something good, but I have a strange suspicion like my number 3 is going to be like whatever's cheaper than Henderson is what I have for number 3, and then you guys gave Ed Old Carter for number 3 or something.
I mean, we did ship Ed your bottle of Old Carter. It's been 6 months.
Well, no. Okay, so here's the thing. People have been saying, 6 months limit. But I'm like, okay, let's throw on, you have a 2-year-old, your wife's pregnant, like you got a full work schedule.
That's within the 6 months. Otherwise, it'd be 1 week.
And Charlie lives it's a 10-hour drive.
So I will say, Brian, you haven't, because of all that, you can't keep up with all the YouTube comments, but I will admit, Olfo 1910 took it over 1920. You are the people's champ.
Just because people didn't vote doesn't mean that was their preference.
Right. So
I just want to recount.
You're doing the non-vote vote.
If we had done mail-in, never mind.
The mail. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So what type of statistical reliability tangent are you going on now, Mr. Data?
All right, so on to number 2.
All right,
I'm gonna save a little number 1 just as as a measuring stick here.
I would say, Brian, you're not gonna like number 2, but I don't really care.
This might be just a bottle full of bitters that I poured for you.
Yeah, no joke. Thank you for that. Did we get that on camera, by the way?
So,
At least make it orange bitter so he can make old fashioned with his redneck Riviera.
It's yeah.
And mix a little Henderson in there for cream soda.
It's orange Caracal finished redneck Riviera.
Oh, that's what.
Orange Curacao. There's no way they're getting orange Curacao barrels for redneck.
Oh no,
Riviera. That's
Brian
we
will
could
be
start our own blending.
I know Brian's gonna be the master blender for redneck Riviera.
Well, get a hold of John Rich because you're all over that. That's awesome. Wow. Okay, totally different nose. Wow.
Totally different. Yeah.
Yep. So I get a little
More
black
subtle.
licorice.
Yes. Yep. I get black and red licorice kind of at the same time. Like the if you bought nibs and you took the bags and you mixed them together, that's what I'm feeling.
Okay.
Oh, definitely getting that black licorice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite notes because I love black licorice.
Really? That turns.
I love it.
Anise can be either you love it or hate it.
And that's no joke. Yeah. And I see a lot of these on the whiskey tubers. If they hit the anise, they just like shut her down. Kind of like Sarah on it's Bourbon Night. If she goes near it, she's done. She's out. I hate it. Won't even drink it.
It's like Chuck and Smoke. He's done.
Yeah.
Not a smoke. You're not a smoke fan, Chuck?
I like a little smoke.
Okay.
They're talking like Lagavulin Scotch, which is just like
hell no. No. Yeah.
You gave New Riff a hard time in our bottled and bond bracket because of the hint of smoke.
Well,
you got in it.
no, you guys, and then you're talking about the Knights County or whatever, the Kings County that was like just all barrel char. Sorry, that's not smoke. That's just burnt.
Well,
that's
honestly, like bourbon kryptonite for Charlie is like throw smoke plus rye into the same mix and it's like
yeah.
Brian, I just bought 2 ryes this week. Now they're finished. Ooh. High West picks. They are fantastic.
Have you guys had the Elijah Craig rye? Just the straight rye?
Yep.
TJ has it. It just hit shelves here, although TJ's review wasn't.
Yeah, it was a little watered down for me.
Agree. If you're looking to start drinking rye, might not be a bad entry rye.
Absolutely. Yeah, and also for a mixer, which is what it's really designed for. It is good. My problem is just like my mixing rye is definitely High West double rye. So
mine's Old Forester rye, no, hands down.
Yes, sir. Old Forester rye. Thank you.
That makes the best old fashioned. That's it. Done.
Best everything.
Whereas my wife prefers to use my, Four Roses barrel strength and the FAE01 she's been making.
You guys give me a hard time for being like Daddy Warbucks over here. It's like your wife's using $90 bourbon and mixed drinks. I don't even make cocktails.
Well, it's either. Go ahead.
I was saying, I wish we could say she didn't know what she was doing, but she does.
She does.
She just doesn't value TJ's liquor.
No, she believes high quality bourbon makes high quality cocktails.
No, high quality bourbon's meant to be drank just like this.
Now, yeah, well, and like I said, she's a big Booker's fan. I never see that Booker's going in a cocktail.
Right.
just the bottles I really like.
Ooh.
I get a lot of brown sugar, vanilla on the palate.
Mm-hmm. That finish is funky. It's got a little funk to me, but not off-putting like Wild Turkey 17 year bottle.
Okay.
Oof.
I've-
Any of you guys?
No, that's one of those that we've been hunting, but
So
can't find it.
I'm a Patreon supporter of the Whiskey Tornado, and I got to do there was 4 of us, and we got to pick his whiskey of the year, and he gave us 5 samples, and that was one of them. And the moment I put it right here, I went, "You put a Scotch in here." I said, "That's a freaking."
Scotch does have that kind of like funky
That
sour something on the.
Yeah, and so that I put that last. I was like, no, and everybody's like, it's so complex. I'm like, it tastes like Band-Aids and cherry.
Wait, hold on. Fresh Band-Aids or used Band-Aids? 'Cause there is a difference.
Straight out of the package, fresh. The plastic strip Band-Aid.
Well, some people like that fresh smell. I mean,
Go back to the Henderson. Okay,
I'm saying I do.
second sip's good. Very
Yeah,
good.
it's probably the most complex of the night of everything going on.
Boy, I could. That's one you could just. You pour it, you let it sit there, you take one, enjoy it, do whatever you're doing, go back to it. Yeah, that's really good.
Oh yeah.
This
The finish isn't as powerful as the FA01. You know, it's not a pepper burn your mouth kind of a finish, which makes it pleasant, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I feel like it hangs on longer. Like it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
Still flavor there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Go ahead.
I was just saying the transition is interesting because I almost feel like that black licorice on the front, and then you almost get like a little bit of dried fruit on that nose as well at the end.
I've got some,
and then it transitions to that
kind of a rich,
sugar.
Yeah.
So I feel like this one's a little bit all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I do get that kind of that plum or prune a little bit, but not. Sometimes that is pretty off-putting, especially on port finishes. I get that big time.
Yeah.
Nose. So this is
almost a bit more of a
what's the
sour
price range if we want to play
fermented.
Guess That Bourbon?
So this one's also $60, and Brian, you also have a bottle of it.
$60 is a bit misleading.
$60 where?
Technically, I paid $60 for it at the distillery.
For the bottle.
For the
But
at the distillery.
the bottle is miniature.
Oh, I gotta zoom in.
Oh,
This is the Old Foe
117?
117.
Nice.
So
So
I lucked out. I stayed outside. I got there at 6 a.m. and I was able to grab 4 bottles at $50 a pop. I gave 2 to myself, 1 to Chuck, and 1 to Brian.
I got 2.
Did you get? How'd you get? Did you go get one?
Oh
no, he's got Brian's.
We traded.
Yeah, he has
I
mine.
gave it up. What's wrong with you?
No. Brian just hasn't gone and collected it yet.
No,
So I have that and his old starter.
So
Yeah.
geographical proximity is, it's like, TJ, Charlie, Brian.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
for
like,
the record, Brian, I pulled your sample out of my bottle. I did not. Your bottle is unopened, sir.
Still open.
So remember that the next
I
time.
want to add a little water to it.
I'm
Well,
telling
like,
you.
Supposedly adding water to this is the way to drink it. So
yeah, they do say a couple, or Jackie's Icon said a couple drops is the way to do it.
And then
It opens it up.
I mean, even now, like the nose is, I'm getting more sweet on the nose now than I did earlier too.
Yeah, like you were talking about, Ed, how you can find so many different bourbons in different locations. That is one advantage is with Chuck in Illinois, me in Kentucky, and Brian in Missouri, we each find different bottles readily available. And so we're constantly texting like, do you want this?
yeah, when it's midwinter's nighttime, I usually can find a plethora.
that's another one that seems to be like a damn near impossible to find. and every once in a while, if you do see it, at least in Indiana, it was over $100.
Which one was that at?
Midwinter night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mid.
I got one for $85 at a small restaurant liquor store in Champaign last year. It was after Brian already picked up a bottle for me, so I picked up a second bottle because I was like, you can't pass it up at $85.
No, right.
Yeah, I remember Brian just texted us. He's like, so these things hit. Do you guys want a bottle? We're both like, yeah, please.
Well, I just bought one that morning, and then I had a lead on like 3 more. And so I was like, texting them, I was like, hey guys, want me to drive across town? I'm like, sure. They were just sitting there out in the wild, like, no big deal. So I was like, boom, boom, boom.
That's crazy.
I mean, I haven't blinded them off yet, but like I just picked up those 2 High West. They're double rye store picks from Benny's. One finished in a Quavit, which is kind of like it's like a vodka type liqueur.
Really?
Which I was surprised at how good that was, because I'm like, how is this going to bring any flavor? It was fantastic. And then the other one was I can't remember the other one. But both of those for $45.
Store pick for 45.
For store.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, the value. I'd like to blind it off with Midwinter Night Dream. Actually, I don't have any Yippee-Ki-Yay left because Yippee-Ki-Yay used to be 70, and then towards the end it was getting to
they're not making
80 or
more, right?
Right.
Nope.
Right. But I mean, why would if for $45 getting these store picks? I'd take those.
All day.
Yeah.
All
I
day.
think those store picks are gonna beat out Midwinter Night Drum so easy. And then the Rendezvous Rye is limited, allocated now, which is stupid, but
I've never had the rendezvous. I'm not a giant rye person. I've never had the rendezvous. I have a bottle of High West, the double rye, and it's good. It's an average rye if you're asking me.
Yeah.
Honestly, the store picks I got though, like I got a store pick of the American Prairie and the double rye, and it just exponentially better.
How's the American? That American Prairie is just an American whiskey, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How is that pretty? I've never had that.
The store pick was really good.
Was it?
Yeah,
Brian's
but it's the store pick's also finished. So.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be able to see their store picks because it's the normal label, but it's kind of like it's black and then it's kind of got what is it?
Don't they do that like iridescent
sheen or shimmer?
Yes, that's what it.
Boston,
the holographic. Yeah, I'm thinking holographic Pokemon cards, but yes, it's holographic whiskey bottles.
It's
my wife referred to them as the coolest bottles I have. So,
Chuck, nerd alert.
yeah.
Reminds me of Pokemon cards. Well,
okay.
Mr. Spreadsheet over there is
TJ's trying to
calling
reach
nerd.
a different demographic out there for us. I appreciate that.
There are other people that watch this and know what I'm talking about and would have chosen Pokemon cards too.
They're all under 21 and are not part of this channel.
It's coming back.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, I will give you a little inside information. My parents owned a sports apparel store for 22 years, and my dad sold baseball cards and Pokemon cards, but every box he would get of baseball and Pokemon, and he had basketball too. He would take one pack out of every box and just keep it. And then he would open it up. And so my dad passed away 6 years ago. And so my mom was down in her basement and she sends us a text. It's so funny. A 72-year-old lady texting. It's great. She says, "You won't believe the binder I just found of all your dad's Pokemon cards." And I'm thinking, I hope to God there's some rare ones in there, Mom, and you hit the lottery on that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I hear there's Pokemon cards that are worth 10, 12, 100 grand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the holographic Charizard I used to have that I got rid of, I'm just like kicking myself now. Like, that totally could have made me some money.
Yeah.
All right. So
And I agree.
See a
There are a lot
comment
of
here.
adults out there. There are a lot of adults out there using their kids to continue their collection. So
I'm in chat now.
And play Pokemon Go. You got to run around It's exercise.
Oh, not around here. I see people in their golf carts doing Pokemon Go instead. And it's like, well, so much for the exercise part of it.
No.
Sufficient,
No.
Brian.
I'm in Chuck's camp right now. No, seriously, nerd alert. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we poured through.
Now, can we go back to those baseball cards or basketball cards that may be in there?
Yeah.
No, and the other thing my dad would do on the basketball cards, so he would go through it every time he found a Michael Jordan card, he would put it in this binder. He has like 30 pages of Michael Jordan basketball cards.
That's crazy.
Chuck
know.
might trade Bourbon for some of those.
Yes.
And I mean, it's sad that he doesn't get to reap the benefits of what he did, but it's kind of like, was that your hint at a life insurance policy, Dad? You know, I mean,
I would say, Chuck, you've got a old Carter 13 and a old Fo 117 you'd be willing to part with for a couple cards, right?
for a couple Jordan cards.
Hey,
we can work something out.
And I also have 23. I mean, how about that number? 23 unopened, seal on them posters of Michael Jordan.
Oh, wow.
ooh,
Wow.
that's cool.
Yeah. Well,
Did you watch the one episode where I was wearing my old jersey, number 45? It was number 45 jersey, but
the 45 jersey.
yeah,
All right. Were you
pulled it out of the closet. It's a little tight, but
No, don't admit
And that was, I mean, that was from like middle
because I
school.
like when I was probably 10.
Well, yeah. You guys were 10. I was old.
Well, we're not asking those questions, Ed.
That's fine. I don't really care because I don't feel my age, so I don't care. It's just a number.
Especially after a couple glasses of bourbon.
Oh, then that goes out the freaking window.
19 again.
That's right. No, well, yeah. Not 21 because if we go back to 21, I won't drink any of this brown liquor ever again.
Let's all be honest.
Yeah.
I was not drinking. My palate was not sophisticated at 21.
No.
My palate at 21 was White Label and Old Number 7.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't drinking
Large,
bourbon. I was
large quantities.
We were, what was it, Chuck?
Miller Lite.
Rolling Rock, Miller Lite.
yeah.
Oh, Miller Lite in a can for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Coors guy, so, you know,
Just because
Oh,
you're
from
Colorado, and
so
everything.
Golden elixir.
that's right.
Drinking from the
So I
spring.
will say the water on this 117, I feel like more than anything opens up the finish.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me.
I agree. It was, pretty fantastic though.
Yeah. Any final thoughts there on the 117, Brian or Ed?
I would take that one over the FAE by about that much.
Yeah.
I prefer that over the FAE. Now,
It's hard. I mean, they're both great. Sorry, go ahead, Ed.
Yeah.
no, I was saying the FAE is freaking
Mhm.
fabulous. Oh my gosh.
Well, the fact that the FAE can easily compete with the OFO 117 and the OFO 117 is impossible to get, but the FAE people are just passing because they're like, oh, it's Maker's Mark. It can't be good.
Mhm.
Well, and they're just kind of different. Like I feel like everything with the FAE 01 is like apparent for sip. Is to where the 117, like it's a little bit more complex. It's a little bit more, you have to have a couple sips, and you kind of appreciate more of what's there.
Right.
And just, I mean, and the profiles are just different. I mean, you get that kind of cinnamon balm at the end of the makers, and this one you just the finish is different. You have totally different nose profiles. So independently, they're both very good.
Oh, for sure.
But, yeah. We understand, Brian. The old foe takes it because it's old foe. We got it. You don't.
I'm not saying that. It just depends. Again, like what's your palate? What are you in the mood for that night? You know.
Right.
All right, Brian. So the next two you don't have a bottle of. So we'll let you know that.
Mm.
Well, I don't have a bottle of Jim Beam honey,
That's true.
so
Neither do I.
You did send us American honey ones.
This might have been before we started actually doing the channel, when we were just kind of doing this for fun. I sent these guys.
Now we don't. Now this isn't fun.
Now it's work and it sucks. Right.
And I sent them American honey.
Oh my!
Just to try.
That why you make the Chuck seems to go back and really just like lambaste you about the American honey, and I just crack. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. So I sent them a blind flight, and one of them was American honey.
No, the worst part is the order of it. Is you screwed up our palate. I just about cussed on this live channel. We're drinking.
Did he make you drink that right out of the gate?
Yes. Like my palate was destroyed.
And then this last one he sent us, and we didn't record all of those, but he gave us things that like had so much sugar in it. I was worried I was going to have a diabetic attack afterwards. Like oil fire and things like that. We were getting notes of like Cinnabons, liquid Cinnabons.
Yeah. If you were diabetic, it should actually come with a warning: oil fire.
What is it called?
Oil fire. It's from I think Oklahoma.
I think you're pronouncing it wrong. Oil fire.
Oil fire. Exactly.
It's a cinnamon bourbon?
No,
more like a Cinnabon.
Yeah.
like a cinnamon
Sugar
roll.
bomb.
It's the reason the Bottled and Bond Act was created, because there's so much flavored stuff in it, you know it's not real.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh God. Wow.
People who like it as a mixer or don't really appreciate real bourbon, you pour them some of that neat and they're like, oh, this is so sweet, this is great, and you're like, and that's why you're drinking that instead of something else on my shelf.
So you
don't pretend like you don't drink that, Brian. Like, oh, it's just for the visitors.
Chuck,
you can mix it with something and it get
turpentine maybe. I
mean, it
might improve.
Hold on. I feel like oil fire. We're kind of getting better. You guys kind of enjoyed it for what it was.
Oh boy!
You weren't willing to call it bourbon or whiskey, or I forget what other name. It's its own category.
I forget what it's called.
It's called a mixer. It's you get them like it's becoming popular. Like Jim Beam's now doing salsa water with bourbon. They just got it already made. You just pre-mixed.
There you go.
Yeah, but if you like Cinnabons, and honestly, who doesn't like Cinnabon? Like
I do, just not in this glass.
Yeah.
Bingo. I like it for breakfast with my coffee.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Not Folgers either.
When it's not socially acceptable to drink bourbon yet.
Says who?
That's what it's a breakfast bourbon.
Oh,
there you go.
So
whiskey.
Okay.
Sorry, whiskey.
I get burnt brown sugar and banana.
I get. All right, can I bogart a very famous whiskey tubers saying?
Sure.
I get the butter pecan, the mash and drum.
Yep, he's a good guy.
For everyone else out there, we say butter pecan.
Butter pecan, yeah. Or if you're what is it? Texas, it's a pecan, or is it here in Georgia?
Georgia, I think. Yeah, South Georgia's got a lot of pecans.
Pecans. All right, I'll probably get run out tomorrow morning at work, and when I say pecan, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a pecan."
You got to find some pecan pie.
Yeah,
I would say there's some people in Kentucky that fight over is it pecan or pecan.
But
clearly, we have nothing to fight about.
Did you just read that?
Yeah. No. So I put a stop to Folgers at the office. I was like, I will personally pay for better coffee.
Thank you.
But you're not getting the office Onyx.
Oh
no, but it's close. It's I have a good friend that owns the local coffee and tea shop, so it's post Onyx.
If it's the darker the roast, the better, in my opinion.
I appreciate a good medium roast too.
So you may know this, you may not. My sister taught me this. She was a barista. The lighter the roast, the more the caffeine.
caffeine. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's so
You'd think
dark. It's
Be
gonna
the other
keep
way.
you blind." I'm like, "No." Oh.
That could be a fun live stream. Is Chuck send us coffee samples? I'll be up till 3 a.m. But hey,
We alternate. We'll do 4 blind coffees, then 4 bourbons, 4 coffees, 4 bourbons. That's how you do like an all night. Ooh, this is a great idea.
I like Wayne's decision. You can make any coffee good enough with enough bourbon cream.
Well done, Wayne.
Yeah,
Or enough Baileys.
Yep.
I
There's nothing.
like this coffee flight idea because that means to really, for me to do this right, I have to go back to Kona, Hawaii, and go to that coffee place that Brian, you and I went to. That was literally the best coffee I've ever had.
Really?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. So good.
unbelievable! Now it's like $80 a pound.
Yeah.
I may never
For
get
coffee.
it again, but
It's like that. What was that out of that movie? The Copaluac, the one
Yeah.
where the cat has.
there was no poop involved in this coffee.
Yeah. I think but they were giving away like free samples of it, like in little cups, like little Dixie cups. And I think I got like 17 and a half samples. So, so I got about a cup and a half of coffee.
Why does that not surprise me in the least? I mean, I can just see him. He just running and Chuck's over there. But he bought it, actually purchased a cup, sitting in the corner going, "Oh my God, I'm with you."
Exactly. Ed, I was with somebody who bought something.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that is.
Well, actually, so that goes perfect with this bottle. So, Brian, you were it just fits too perfect in there. Brian, you were also with 2 people who bought it. That's the Old Fo single barrel strength.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
knew that was coming. Yeah, I knew that.
I was just about to say this one gives me the most hug.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a great way to describe that, Ed.
124.7 proof. So it's the highest proof so far.
Dangerous. Dangerous. This is on the line of Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, where it's so good, but it's super high octane.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
And it doesn't drink super high like some of them do.
Yeah.
You could put this in a blind flight and people aren't going to know that this is over 110 proof. So
No, I mean, Knob Creek 120 is single barrel would drink hotter than this, and this is, higher octane.
Yeah, and we actually have plans to do the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof here in the near future. So I was able to get my hands on one of those, and so I was very happy.
I would say, Brian, you should plug that a little bit more. You actually bought a good bourbon. You
every now
people need to know.
We golf clap him. We'll go.
Yeah. I had a coupon.
Well,
There's a lot of people though that would be happy with a coupon for Jack Daniel's barrel strength.
no joke.
Although,
Yeah.
So throwing this out to TJ and Chuck. So a local store is having a fundraiser for a distributor who's ill. And so he's held back some stuff, and there is a single barrel reserve rye from Jack Daniel's. So
you guys been on the hunt for that.
So if you give me a limit, I might be able to venture over and spend your money.
This is an auction, or this is a
auction.
Wow.
No, yeah. So they have a bunch of stuff there, and they also have the Eric Church Jack Daniel's one over there.
That's just a single barrel though. That's not a barrel, I don't think.
No, it's not. It's just the single barrel spot.
Yeah.
Have you guys had that rye, that reserve rye?
I've been looking for it. It really never hit Kentucky.
You've had it,
Brian?
Yeah. Oh, so good, so good. One of my friends was able to get a bottle. So
glad
he
you
gave
scored
me
us
a
some
sample.
Yeah.
I tried actually, and he said no.
I understand that.
All right, fair enough.
So
because he was like, hey, how much do you need? And I was like, well, I'll need 6 ounces. And he's like, no.
We could do a
Apparently-
reciprocity pour of
Apparently
do
Wayne
you
loves
share
it.
what else we
Yeah.
have in our collections? Like, I'll send them 2
Yeah.
ounces.
That's
of something.
true.
Yeah, Wayne
Okay.
got a bottle. Lucky guy.
So
Well, is it
Wayne,
just the
send us
rye or is
Wayne,
it the
send us a pour.
barrel-proof rye?
It's the barrel proof rye.
Oh, did you say barrel-proof? Okay.
It's as long as it says, I forget what it says. It says special release on it or something
Yeah.
like that. I think they announced the 2021 one. It's a blue label, so it'll be interesting to know what that is because I've never seen Jack with a blue label. Maybe they bought the Weller we can't find and just poured it in Jack barrel after they charcoal filtered it. So we got the Tennessee Lincoln process and we're good to go.
listen to this guy import Kentucky, and he's just bashing Jack Daniels left and right.
Yeah.
So when I go back to I let this barrel proof sit for a minute, and I go back, I get a ton of oak and I actually get nutty. Oh, this is my favorite pour so far.
Yeah. Oh yeah. These single barrels are so good. I will say some of them run a little hot. You can usually find they used to be 90 proofers, but now they're 100 proofers for the other single barrels. Yeah. And some of those are just absolutely amazing. And people look them over because they want the barrel strength because that's the trend now, but the 100 proofers are really
And
good.
check something real fast.
Okay.
I have the 90.
Yeah.
I am a big fan.
Yeah. I've got a 90 proofer too, and it's really good. But yeah, there's a couple hundreds out there that are pretty good. So,
Right.
And so Ed, you probably don't know this. Chuck and Brian do because I brag to them all the time. So Kentucky changed the law. The distilleries can now send straight from the distillery to people's houses. So
Yes, I heard that.
that's how I get the Maker's Mark. I'm part of their whiskey drop. So every quarter they send me 2 of their limited releases. So Old Foe said they're going to start doing this too.
Oh,
Yeah. So there's a good chance when they do that, I'll be signing up for that. I mean, pretty soon I'm not going to have to hunt because it's just all going to get delivered to my front step,
well, you
which is going
just
to be
give me
great.
your address and or Venmo. I'll just freaking Venmo you money. Bob.
Well, I think they do one per address, and it has to be a Kentucky address.
I don't know
Right.
if it's one per address. I don't know. I didn't look into that. I just signed up as quick as I could
So-
because it.
Because I thought it
Sold
was. I
out.
was like, we need to buy and sell some mailboxes in Kentucky. Is what we need to
Yeah.
do.
Hey, so Chuck, the Lance Whiskey Tornado, he's from Champaign,
Yep.
and he turned me on, and we went to a place called Collective Pour,
Yep.
and that's where I got my Old Forester single barrel,
Oh.
or
I got the same one. Yep.
I bought it from there, and I also bought online Weller Special Reserve 1 liter for $40.
They're
It was like-
fantastic. I think they were selling 1920 for less than $50.
Were they really?
I just picked up a Jack single barrel from there.
What'd you give for it there?
52.
Oh, stop.
Yeah. And they do these break the bank, break the bottle, not the bank. And so I got to taste the Calumet 14 and 15 last week for
How did you like them?
$10. So I have the 14.
I have the
bought-
14 as well.
I bought that last year, and we blinded it off against some other 100 proof stuff, and it did well in that proof point. But outside of that, it wasn't special.
Yeah.
Wasn't to us, it wasn't worth that price.
Agree 100%.
And the 15 to me wasn't much different than the 14.
Really?
They're almost, and I love oak. They're almost over oaked.
Ooh.
Not possible.
So I'm not excited. I'm excited for the Sam Houston 15 because like the Sam Houston was the one that TJ picked up for me last year was really nice.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
definitely
so I
looking forward to
got
that
the-
one. But I'd pass on the Calumet.
So there's a couple versions of the Sam Houston, so you have to be careful on the bottle. So
Right.
I got Chuck the Kentucky variant.
Okay.
Supposedly Kentucky and Tennessee had the best, and then Indiana.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I bought the Calumet 14, and I think I've only had like 4 pours out of that bottle, and I got so much better stuff on my shelf.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm just bummed because I was hoping, man, this is going to be good, and I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, what is it in
Same
your?
experience.
I think it was your list, Chuck, that I complained about the Mickers 10-year. Like that's
Yes.
one that I keep going back every so often, trying to enjoy it, and it's just I just can't do it. I just
Really?
am not a fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it pour
I'm
and
actually
smell
that way
it.
with.
That's it.
I'm actually that way with larceny. Like larceny stuff. People keep telling me, "Oh, it's great in that price range." I'm just like, no,
That's
no.
I'm with you on that, Brian. And I walked into a liquor store down here. 7 bottles of Elijah Craig A121 on the shelf, just sitting there. Yeah, I already had one, and I'm like, shh, exactly, exactly. For
Hello,
$75.
kids.
For $75.
$75.
Yes, and right next to it are 2 bottles of Larceny Barrel Proof, $125 a piece. I'm like, no chance, no chance.
That was honestly one of my biggest disappointments. I got, I think B520 is what it was, and like it actually comes out flat. Like the flavor's just not there. So I
You
mean,
got that bottle,
yeah,
no joke. That's my favorite. I loved it.
Mhm.
I will send you a sample of my B520 bottle if you want.
Wait, TJ, are you talking? You're talking Larceny Barrel Proof.
I'm talking Larceny Barrel.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, no.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait a second. You guys are talking
Yeah.
two different bottles here.
No,
Okay.
I've got all the Elijah Craigs. Like we'll keep collecting all the Elijah Craigs all day long, and
We liked Batch C better than Batch B, though.
yes,
Okay.
they were close. It was those two neck and neck, but yeah, like C slightly better.
Okay. See, it was either A120 or C920 was our whiskey tornado. No, that finished second. Bardstown number 3 was our bourbon of the year.
Really?
Or 4. 3 or 4. 3.
4 wasn't out yet. Yeah.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
So good. It's good. I didn't pick it. I picked the Elijah Craig.
Okay. Yeah, I would have been with you. I love Bardstown. But.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was was in Tennessee when I got my B520, and the guy, I was looking on the shelf, and the guy says, "Oh," or the lady, I'm sorry, she said, "Hey, we got some stuff in the back here." I'm like, "Oh, what do you got?" She says, "I got a E.H. Taylor, and I got a Elijah Craig Barrel Proof," and I'm looking at them, and I go, "What's the price?" She said, "They're the same price, $65." I almost wanted to say, "Give me them both," but I just took the Elijah Craig, and not disappointed in
Good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
one of those was appropriately priced. One of them was, E.H. Taylor, depending on where you are, like that's hard to find just in general. So if you didn't have one on the shelf, $70.
Yeah.
Just do it.
There you go, Chuck. So Tim saw a batch A121 for $125.
What?
Yeah,
wow.
That's a little pricey.
That's pricey for the Louisville area. In Louisville, they jumped it. Like even Total Wine, it's $81 now.
What did I find yours for?
You got them for
I bought you the this year's batch A for $55.
Did you get it at Benny's?
Nope, I got it. Benny's, they were sold out like within the day.
Okay.
So I ended up getting it at Harvest Market.
That's where Lance got his.
Yep.
And he paid $49.95 or something for it.
Oh, yeah. Man, I think I paid. Well, maybe I charged TJ tax. But.
Yeah.
Probably. Finder's fee.
Gas, you know.
I paid when I went into my local there in Avon at Crown Liquors, I was looking for some other stuff, and I think I bought a bottle of Rare Breed, and the guy says, he says, "Hey, I got Elijah Craig back here." And I said, "Really?" I said, "For sale?" He says, "Yeah, we got the barrel proof. You want a bottle?" I said, "Sure." $65.
Nice.
It's the best $65 bottle of bourbon on the market.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes the markup on
well,
stuff is
Yeah, I mean, maybe
Well, okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You're right.
And we still have FAEO2 in the fall to see how that does. So
Right.
that'll be interesting.
I'm
I'm willing to say that our top bourbon is going to probably, at least in the top 5, you're going to have the FAE, you're going to have an Elijah Craig barrel proof. So if you can find one of those at MSRP or even a couple bucks over, I'd buy it.
probably not at 125.
No.
But anything under 100, probably I'd be on it.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We on to 4?
Yep.
We ready for number 4?
I'd say 80.
80 for what?
The Elijah Craig barrel
The
proof.
Elijah Craig, the more budget conscious individual.
I'd give 80 for Elijah Craig.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say though, like just the price range. One of my friends was shopping this week, and he shot me some texts. And the Jack Daniel's barrel proof usually goes for about $55. He was at a store. He's like, "Hey, I found one. It was $99
Gosh.
on the
$100?
shelf." Yeah, and I was like, there's a reason that's on the shelf.
Yeah.
But that being said, I actually did just do a pour and compared the Old Foe to the Jack Daniels, and the Old Foe is definitely better. But I think we're gonna like the Jack Daniels.
Your president's choice?
No, the barrel.
The sample I sent,
you guys
or you sent them.
I just
sorry,
poured the
you meant just
barrel
now.
proof. Yeah, so just now I poured the barrel Jack Daniels, and they're different, but both really good. Old Foe is definitely better, but for $55 for half the price and much more readily available, that Jack Daniels barrel proof is.
I'm
nice.
telling you that is some really good stuff.
It doesn't drink, and it's 130 proof, and it doesn't drink at all.
Yeah.
And
I
it'll
like the
be
single barrel selects at the lower proof point too. Like honestly, I've had 2 of those, and they've been really nice.
Or 86 proof. That stuff's. I have a Meyer store pick that is wonderful. Excellent first bourbon of the night if you're start out.
Exactly.
So
well, and then at the end of this year, it'll be interesting because the Elijah Craig barrel proof store picks will start dropping. I'm sure. When we were at Heaven Hill the other day, there was like 6 dudes that showed up for a barrel pick, and we're like, "Okay, what are you doing?" They're like, "Elijah Craig barrel proof," and I was like, "You need an extra friend?"
Can I join?
no joke. Barrel pick. Wow.
Yep. So they're gonna start doing barrel proof Elijah Craig's store picks, which those are gonna be amazing.
So the best bottle of bourbon flavor wise on my shelf is a Freddie No Knob Creek store pick. I got it A1 Liquors in Effingham. And I'm telling you, that stuff is unbelievable.
And that's barrel proof?
Yes. It's the single barrel, 120.
Yep.
But I mean, the flavor is just out of this world.
Knob Creek is one of those that's underrated.
Sneaky
I
good.
would say overall.
Yeah.
Sneaky good.
You were talking about your list there that my top 6.
Yeah.
Knob Creek all day, every day for $30.
Absolutely.
And you can find it everywhere.
And they started putting the age statement back on, so
Yep.
now it's 9 years.
And people pass it up all day long.
Yep.
Leave it sit.
So Ed, I'm going to tease a future episode here. So you challenged me to do my middle shelf. So 5 bottles, I guess, for $150 is
Yep.
kind of what we came up with. And that's what I've been working on the last week. So I've been doing some blinds. I've been doing research. I shipped the samples to TJ and Brian today. So that is a future episode. It was a lot of work, a lot of anguish on my part.
That's why I said, when I put in there, I'm like, Chuck, can't buy barrel. Can't buy barrel. No barrel.
MGP, like no barrel, no MGP. Like, damn, this was hard. That was a price point that I don't shop at. I bought some bourbon.
That's a normal price point for a lot of people, actually.
But,
so a lot of people, 5 for 150 is kind of what they
I
would do.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process.
I
think I came
trust
up with
the
a good
process.
5.
Trust
I
the
came up with a good
process,
5.
right?
I'll bet you found some stuff that surprised you.
I did actually. So
Good.
yes. I have a bottle that should have been on my shelf, I think, but it will most definitely be a staple.
Nice.
Yep.
Good. That's awesome. Yeah, because I get a kick out of y'all's different like sweet spot.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, I got to challenge Chuck because he's always in the 75 ish and up, and with the exception of 1920, which
Yeah,
is
I mean, yeah.
60, or Elijah Craig, depending on where you buy it. But for the most part, you're right there, and I'm like, no, I want to see if we can do if he can find some good stuff for $150 and he can't buy barrel.
Yep. No, I enjoyed the process, and I took it very seriously. So I blinded off.
Awesome.
I mean, at that point,
wait.
you're making some budget decisions.
So
yeah, I see a comment on the post here, like if you can find a Knob Creek 15-year for, especially the 120 proof for $45.
Yeah, for 45.
Yep.
Buy two.
Good find.
I will
find.
give you my address.
buy them all.
Yeah.
Buy them all. Because I have the Knob Creek 15-year special edition from last year,
So do I.
which was proof down to 100, and I love that.
So
Like at 100 proof, that's about as good as it gets. Now, if at barrel proof, damn, that's
I agree with you, Chuck, 100%. So I think it was ADHD whiskey put that like number 2, and a lot of people were bitching that it was way over oaked. I didn't think it was over oaked at all.
No.
I like oak, but
But I thought it was really good. Have you guys had the TJ, or have you guys had the 15 Knob Creek?
Yeah,
TJ
I've got a
has one
bottle
as
too.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we lucked out and we got one the same day at Total Wine here in Louisville.
Okay. Yeah,
Couldn't pass it up.
right. So number 4 has the flattest nose of all of them to me.
You think so?
I'm not getting a whole lot. I don't know.
I think maybe more subtle. It's not as dominant as far as nose.
I feel like the tail end of the nose, I feel like, is where you get more. It doesn't hit you with anything initially.
That's true.
There's not that one note that stands out. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
I feel like it's
I get
subtle,
lighter
like fruit and
sweet
spice
note.
on the back.
Lighter fruit, like a pear or light apple.
Yeah.
One tasting or nosing note that drives me crazy when people say, I get a lot of baking spice. You can bake with anything in your freaking cupboard. I mean, come on.
What does that mean?
Right? I
Are
mean,
we talking baking soda, or are we talking?
Actually,
it's spice, Brian. Do you bake?
It's Weber.
It was a joke.
Weber Grill Mates.
Because it has no smell.
Because it's got everything in there. So it's Weber Grill Mates.
Montreal steak seasoning from McCormick.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
We're like
Got it all.
everything bagel seasoning. If it's overpowering with baking spice, then it's everything bagel.
I'm getting the vanilla, No, I'm not getting much oak on the nose here.
Nope, I agree.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Yeah, you definitely get the subtle vanilla first before you get the kind of that orchard fruit.
If you don't want to burn your nose out, that is a fantastic nose to, just.
It takes a while to really absorb it.
Yeah, for not being over oak, there's not a bourbon in this that's under 10 years in this blend.
Man.
Yeah, so you can't say that. It is a blend. We'll
it's really good, whatever it is. I mean, all 4 of these are stellar.
We treat you right. We don't treat Brian right, but we treat you right, Ed.
Wait, Brian doesn't treat us right. We treat Brian right.
Hey,
and I just want to say, I really appreciate you guys actually sending me the same stuff you sent Ed. Because I was really expecting like 1 or 2 of these.
You were expecting retaliation
garbage
for your last garbage that you sent us?
Look, I have yet to retaliate for the bitters incident. Okay, when you guys,
you did. You sent us Henderson. You sent us.
you sent me a thing of bitters. You sent me a thing of bitters, and we're like, "Hey, drink this. It's really good." Oh, we love it. And
so Yeah. So
Like,
back
what
to
are
the
you guys drinking?
back to the bourbon. This sits on the shelf, kind of like the FAEO one,
This
and
does?
people don't pick it up.
I would, yeah.
What's our price range here?
About 130.
Ooh, are we in the Bardstown range? Are
We
number
are.
4?
There you go. This
Oh,
is Bardstown number 4.
Nailed it.
mm.
Look at that. Ed knowing his stuff.
Ed and Brian coming through on that one. Well done, gentlemen.
Man, I don't. Okay, I'm.
This is our favorite of the Discovery series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Number 2 was it's really good, but
Is
number
it?
4 brings it home.
So I'm going back to the single barrel, Olfo,
Old Foe?
Yeah.
and you know what that smells like to me now? It smells like a creme brulee
Ooh.
banana topped waffle. That's what that smells like now.
Yeah.
Before, I got no banana, nothing. But after smelling this, the Bardstown,
Yep.
all I'm getting is pure sweetness on the Old Forester.
Yep.
Well, I feel like as far as the noses, we went almost from more obvious nose notes to less as we went. So I think going from the Bardstown then back to the Old Foe, like you kind of more in tune and pull out a little bit more.
Which one's the winner? The Discovery 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
And
That's ridiculous.
they just fired up their bottling line today. So they have their
Really?
own bottling line on site. One of my old students actually helped build it, did all the electrical engineering work for him and everything like that.
No kidding.
Yeah, I asked where my bottle was, and I wasn't that good of a teacher, I guess. But so they've been posting pictures. Well, and then I think I can grab that. Let's see if I can do that without.
Oh, that's
It's showing off
Stand up,
already.
TJ. No, stand up all the way.
No. So when I was there, they have now a distillery only release that they're doing, and so this is the Pfeiffer Pavitt XO. So it's been in the barrel of the Pfeiffer for 45 months, and it is amazing.
Which their normal Pfeiffer Pavitt, which I have 1 and 2. Brian, you have the
Really?
first one. Is finished for about 18 months.
Yeah, all their
It's
stuff is
really
finished
freaking
18
good.
months. Yeah.
So being finished for 46 months, like
originally when I got into the bourbon game, which I've only been really kind of deep into it for about 3 years, give or take. I hated finished bourbon. Hated it.
Yeah.
Didn't like the flavors. But I'm coming around to it. Like, have you guys had this?
Oh, the Chattanooga. I have not found the.
I saw the
port.
Is that the port finish?
Yeah.
I saw the port finish at Harvest Market today.
Oh.
Didn't pull the trigger.
If you
You're
want
saying I should have?
bourbon, like after a big steak dinner or whatever, drink that.
Because I didn't like. So TJ had the Chattanooga 111, and I wasn't a fan.
Okay. So
What do you think of that? Have you had that versus the port finish?
I like the 111 better.
Okay.
I do. But if you're looking for an after dinner bourbon,
Yeah.
this is better than the Isaac Bowman, in my opinion.
Have you had the? What's the other one that's really good, Chuck? Woodenville port
Wouldn't
finish.
go port finished.
No, I haven't. I haven't had any Woodenville.
What?
I haven't. So
Ed.
let me finish real quick.
Kick
I
him
have
out.
a little animosity against the state of Washington.
Okay.
And I'll try to get over it because I had a horrible ex from Washington, and I'm like,
Okay.
that state.
It's not the state, just a person.
Fair enough. So I'll give Woodenville its due.
Well, We'll take care of you. We'll make sure you experience some Wooden Bill. I think it's probably, as far as craft distilleries, my
Is it?
favorite in the country.
So
They just, especially their single barrel picks, are awesome.
my favorite craft, I think, is either, if you want to call it craft, is either Wilderness Trail.
Yeah, they're probably borderline no longer craft based on their production capacity.
So if I'm going craft, mine's
Yeah.
Chattanooga.
Yeah. So I have this one, which is the apple brandy, apple brandy barrel finish. I haven't opened it yet.
You had me at apple brandy because that's literally my favorite bar.
I'm sorry.
The Copper and Kings.
Apricot barrel.
Oh, that would still be good.
I mean, either way, like that. Yeah,
That's intriguing.
So have not opened this yet. Maybe I'll.
There you go.
And I have the tequila finished.
I have heard good things about the tequila finish
Which is
one.
very interesting, and I like it. Now I've had their other experimentals that are not good. They're not good at all. They taste like straight grain corn liquor. They're no good. Yeah. But I think they're doing some good stuff. Their rye is really good. If you can find their rye, give that a try. It's good. It's different, but it's good. So Discovery wins.
Yeah. And then I think, if I remember right, so I know Fusion 5 is going to be double oaked. I think they were hinting that Discovery 5 is going to be double oaked too.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So out of
What's the price point on the Fusion? Is it
About
65?
55 to 60. Right
Oh,
around
the
there.
Fusion's going to be double oaked.
I think both the Fusion and the Discovery are. So what I saw, so I follow on Instagram.
I just want
Coming
to go on
soon
record now. That will be
whiskey.
the best double oak of the year.
I'm glad that you think that over 1910.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Really?
So the Instagram page, Coming Soon Whiskey, they always find all the TTP stuff and then they post it and let you know what's coming. And they have double oaked products that are coming out from Bardstown, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
And then with the bottling line set up, they can do all types of stuff. And what people don't know about Bardstown is they do a lot of sourcing and bottling, or not bottling at this point, but they will start now for all these other distilleries. So they do a lot for High West. They do a lot for Chicken Cock and other places like that. And they'll actually, at their gift shop, have any brand that they do distilling for, they have in the gift shop. So, yeah.
Okay. So on the weeded line, if you're a weeded bourbon fan, have you guys had any of the Wyoming whiskeys?
I have not, huh?
I haven't. Probably the only Wyoming whiskey I would have had would be in a barrel blend. Surprise.
Right.
I have had one. I can't remember what it is though. Got together with some friends and he had one from Wyoming.
Okay.
And I can't remember what it was.
So they've got the regular Wyoming whiskey, I think somewhere $39.49, depending where you're at. Jason from Mash and Drum said it's an excellent substitute for Special Reserve Weller.
Ooh, okay.
And then I just bought, I think it's called Outlander or Outrider. It's $80, but it's their bottled and bond.
Okay.
It's very good. And then a friend of mine sent me their single barrel. That stuff is epic. So good.
Okay.
They're doing some really good stuff. I think, Chuck, you said they're putting it in barrels, getting some of their stuff from Wyoming.
That's right. Yeah, I think that it's the New Year blends
Really?
have had Wyoming whiskey in them for the last couple of years, I think.
Yeah, so their New Year does every distillery that they get any distillate from. So that's
Really?
like, yeah, so each New Year it'll change. And then what else? So they got the Dovetail. If you like rye, Seagrass is amazing.
I had a sample of that just here. The last live I did on Whiskey Tornado, he sent us some.
Mm-hmm. You weren't a fan?
I need another pour.
Mm-hmm.
I need to.
I appreciate that, Ed, because like TJ's like, hey, Chuck, you need to buy this, and I'm not a huge rye fan anyway. I'm a barrel fan. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not a huge rye fan. I'm like, I don't know. So your hesitation is confirming my hesitation.
Yeah, I mean it's different, but I'm like, God, I don't know if I could for $90. I don't know if I'm pulling the trigger.
That is the hard part is the $90. But if there was ever a whiskey,
$50 barrel bourbon,
I will say this: if there was ever a whiskey that you were sitting on a beach and you'd want to just have a bottle of next to you, that's the stuff right there.
Okay. See, that's what
I think you say that about the Barrel Armida too, like the finished products like
that. Well, that's what they're comparing it to is the Barrel Armida.
But I'd take the bourbon over the rye.
Right.
Yeah.
Most likely, I think, for my palate.
Me and Chuck like right here.
Yeah.
So I have two.
I'm glad that Ed's here because at least now we're 50-50.
Right? So I have two barrels.
That's the whole reason we brought him in.
Yeah.
Make you feel better about yourself.
Chuck? Or what? Is that why? Okay.
Yeah.
But I have two barrel. I have batch 26.
That's good. That's more Dickel forward, but yeah.
Okay. And then I bought a Crown Liquor store pick single barrel.
Okay.
What'd
you think of that? No?
It says so here's the thing is I think they screwed up on the label because it says it's an 18-year bourbon. I'm like, there's no way. This thing it's so light colored. There's no way it's 18 years.
So, or is a whiskey?
I bet it's a whiskey.
They're whiskey picks.
Okay. Maybe it is a whiskey. You're right. Maybe it is a whiskey.
I have a 18-year whiskey from Benny's.
How do you like it?
I mean, it's okay. It's okay, but it's a whiskey. It's not a bourbon.
But the 26, the neck pour was okay, and I haven't had a pour since. So when I go home, I may get. But it was. I didn't mind it. It was okay. It was good.
26 is good. It's like I said, more. I think I just had it. Maybe within the last week. More Dickel forward. So if you don't like Dickel, you're not going to like it. But
I bought their bottled in bond this year, the 13-year. I haven't opened it yet.
Barrel has a, or you're saying Dickel?
No, Dickel.
Yeah.
Chuck's a huge fan of that.
You watched the bottled in bond off, so you know my preference for.
Yeah. Well, your bottled in bond off was right here. This is where your level was, and it didn't. But I have this 1792 bottled in bond, and I'm like, it's good. It's good. If I'm to pick a bottled in bond, I'm going early times. I'm sorry. That's my.
Yeah.
You can't be at
the price point.
It's so good.
Well, good luck finding 1792 bottled in bond ever again since it won at San Francisco.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
it did.
Gosh.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
I have 2 bottles.
Forget it.
Yep.
It'll be $100 and allocated and stupid.
Yep. And Henry McKenna won again, so you're never gonna find that again either.
Yeah, although like one of my friends, he found a Henry McKenna recently, and it was just total garbage. Like he's like, I don't even know what happened to this. Like they poured something wrong in here. I have no idea. But
so do you want me to open your bottle to make sure it's okay, Brian?
What was that bottle you were opening, TJ?
So I got a Jack Daniel's barrel proof in the mail today. So I had to give that a try.
What are you paying for that?
What's your proof on that?
This is 132.3. So this is so I am part of the Chuck and I both are. Brian is cheap, but we're both part of the Bourbon Pursuit Patreon, and so this is one of their picks.
Really? They did it. Oh.
Well, actually, that Old Foe you had was one of their picks too. That was the Price is Right or Proof is Right pick of theirs.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kenny and Ryan picked some good stuff.
They're good. That's a really good podcast.
Yeah.
I love that
They're good
podcast.
people.
Yep.
They're kind of, you know what,
Have you?
got us going on this.
What's that?
They're kind of like what inspired us to kind of like do. Well, they got me into bourbon, and then I got these two guys into bourbon a little bit more.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been into like
Doing
really
you,
drinking bourbon?
So I was going to say earlier, Ed, when you were talking about how you've kind of been on a 3-year journey.
Yeah.
Same.
I mean, I love poking fun at Chuck when I get the chance. It doesn't happen often. But like 2 years ago, he was like saying how, all bourbon needs to learn whatever Basil Hayden's doing because they're the only one in bourbon doing it right.
Yeah,
we just said that, but yeah, okay.
yeah.
I'm paraphrasing loosely.
Yeah.
Like we've never actually like really talked about that. So it was about 2 years ago, a little bit before, I went to the local liquor store down the way, which is Liquor Barn. It's 3 blocks from my house. For Thanksgiving, pre-COVID, and my parents, my wife's parents, and I were there, and we won 2 Pappy 15s, 2 Lot Bs, and an Old Rip. Like my wife was the last number called for the Old Rip because she was like, "I'm leaving. Forget this. Let's go home." And they call her number. She's like, "Should I buy one?" I'm like, "Yes, you should buy one." So we split it with her parents because my parents aren't really big drinkers. And so I had a Old Rip, Lot B, and a Pappy 15. And we opened the Lot B because we're like, okay, we know we can go to Justin's House of Bourbon and sell the Pappy 15 for crazy amounts of money legally and all that stuff. And we opened that Lot B and we're like, there's something special here. Like, this is amazing. And so we got into it and we just started buying up stuff. Next thing I know, I had 30 bottles. And then COVID hit.
Yep.
And it was like right then and a little bit before that with these guys, I was like, we don't see each other enough. So I just poured a whole bunch of samples. That was before I knew that was a thing and shipped it to these guys. And I was like, okay, let's just do a Zoom call and let's try this stuff out. And that was when, that was
so cool.
Yeah, and that was when Chuck thought Basil Hayden was the best thing in the world, and Brian thought 80 Laws was the best thing in the world.
Let's step back. Chuck did beer and wine. I have a wonderful wine cellar. If you like red wine, come over to my house, Ed. I'll take care of you. I got over 200 bottles in the basement cellar.
Okay.
So that's where that was that's what I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
So hard liquor wasn't part of my palate, but I did.
It was IPAs and wine.
What's that?
It was IPAs and wine.
IPAs and wine. That's basically it. Yeah. And so Basil Hayden got me like you were talking because and now it tastes like water now. That was the entry point. That was the entry point to bourbon and like just getting that palate kind of used to those flavors. And of course, even then, I started drinking it with an ice cube, and of course now I drink everything neat. So.
Right.
Yeah, that was the price, or that was the entry point. These guys give me a hard time because of what it is now. But
look, see, I know you guys brought me in here for a reason, and I'm a Patreon for a reason. That's the bourbon that got me into bourbon.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
yeah.
So I'll back up. I was working a huge job in Tennessee. I was getting transferred to Washington, and as a going away present, one of the guys is like, "Hey, get you a bottle of bourbon." I'm like, "Nope, I don't drink brown liquor." I said, "If I smell it, I'll throw up." I'm like, I had the worst experience. This is 23 years ago. No, he says, "No, listen, get you a bottle of Jack Daniel's single barrel, not the barrel strength, just single barrel select." So I'm like, okay. So they gave me a bottle of that as I was leaving. I'm like, all right. And I drank it. I'm like, that's pretty good. And then I drifted away from it. I end up in Washington. I end up a beer snob drinking stouts and porters. And then I get a job in Virginia. Go out to Virginia. I'm leaving there. They figure you got to have a bottle of bourbon. So they give me a bottle of Basil Hayden. We drink that whole bottle. I'm like, I freaking love it. The rest is history.
Yeah,
I'm hooked. Basil Hayden, Jefferson, 1792 small batch, and Woodford. That's where I was living for the longest
Yep.
time. And now I have 146 bottles. So
Yep. So
Nice.
There you go.
So you'll appreciate this. So I think it was 4 years ago or something like that. It was before I had gotten into bourbon. My in-laws were like, since my wife and I lived in Kentucky, they're like, we really want to do the Derby. And I was like, we're like, okay, like we'll go along with you. So we all did the Derby together. And I got it in my head, like, if we're doing the Derby, I want a mint julep. So I bought I bought a bottle of Woodford, a Derby edition bottle. I actually still have it. And still not drank. But I would literally pour myself like 2 fingers of that every night and just force myself to learn to enjoy it. So then by the time we got to the Derby, I was like, I can drink a mint julep. And now here I am, 160 bottles, a lot of high proof stuff. And it's all delicious.
So back to your winning the Pappy. So last year I bought 4 tickets. Big Red Liquors, they're kind of a big store in Indiana.
Oh yeah.
They do a liquor or a bourbon kind of it's a bourbon kind of it's a big huge deal they do at the fairgrounds up in Indianapolis. And there's probably, God, I don't know, 150 different bourbons up there. There's a bunch of them. And you go out and do tastings and whatever. Well, COVID comes around, they can't do it. So they're doing everything virtual and you buy your tickets. So I bought 5 tickets and they're doing the drawings for Lot B, 15, 25, Stagg, Weller, William LaRue Weller, Thomas Handy. So I'm like, I buy 5 tickets. So I buy 5 tickets. I get an email back. I won Lot B.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So 100, you get to buy it for, I got the option to buy. That's probably, is that what you got, TJ? The option to buy.
Yeah.
And you buy it for whatever they
$80 or so, whatever it is.
So I buy it and I'm thinking, I can flip this for about $1,200.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I'm keeping it. I want to share with people that have never had any Van Winkle. And it's okay.
Right. Oh, there's better stuff out there.
That's what Long Poor TJ says.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. That was freaking up. I'm like, holy shit, he's long pouring freaking Lot B.
Yeah, unfortunately, after we cut the record, Chuck then was like, "You should have chugged it afterwards." I'm like, "Oh man, I should have. That would have been the best thing ever."
I would have been your top Patreon for sure.
Well, that's
It's
the crazy.
just Lot B.
Yeah, I would say that's the crazy thing is there's so many that's a perfect example. Like everybody's going crazy for Weller Full Proof right now. FAE01 is the exact same, just a different mash bill from a different distillery, but it's the same and it's just as good.
I saw a Weller Full Proof here in Georgia for $8.99.
Yeah.
No shit. No. I'm not kidding. I did the same thing, Chuck. I went.
No.
What?
Wayne,
You saw it
I'm with you, Wayne.
in person?
Feel 13-year Russells.
Yeah,
Wayne. It was in a case. What?
Yeah.
Can't wait for
Yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
Okay. Winner.
2 weeks ago, so I'm in some local bourbon channels in Louisville, and some of the guys work at Wild Turkey, and they were sharing pictures. Actually, the picture that went viral of it on the bottling line was in my bourbon group first. Yeah, so it's coming, and it's $70. Again, thank you, Turkey, for doing the right thing.
Fantastic stuff.
Hey, Wild Turkey is underrated. I mean, I think we mentioned that a couple months ago in one of our videos. Like, people don't appreciate what Wild Turkey does. They just think it's 101 and that's it.
What's wrong with 101 stuff for $22?
Nothing. But they do so much more. Like, it's not just a $20 or $25 place.
I remember doing shots of Wild Turkey on Christmas Eve with my uncle, or on Christmas Day after dinner. He would always pour 101. I'm like, God, this is garbage. terrible. Now, 101 for the money. There's no bourbon better flavored than.
Oh yeah.
It rivals
have you-
early times in that slot.
Yes,
You
agreed.
could argue just which one is better nose palate finish across those two, but
Well,
I mean,
and
Evan Williams Bottle and Bond is in there.
well, and who knows?
I've done
I would
I've
say
done enough blinds in the last week, Ryan.
Those are better for sure.
Evan Williams is good for the price, but those two are better.
Okay, so early times I feel like is better. Wild Turkey and Evan Williams, I don't know. I've gone back and forth on those.
Well, and who knows what Sazerac is going to do to early times? Like that's the scary thing. And then Turkey 101 just showed on Instagram today their new bottle.
Really?
Yeah, they changed the bottle up, and it looks clean and very, very nice. There's a turkey I guess not engraved, but pressed into the bottle, and then it's almost got like Old Foe 1910, 1920 label on the front that just says Wild Turkey 101. Yeah, it looks really nice.
They're that whole turkey line, rare breed, the Russell's Reserve, the Russell Single Barrel. Those single barrel store picks are some of the best bourbon you're going to find.
Oh yeah,
they're so good.
And I can always find one at Kroger for like right around $50, which is great.
Yep,
because they put them on sale.
Yeah, Chuck finally got his in.
Finally, after
you finally got your Cobra Kai.
2 months. Yeah. Cobra Kai, baby.
Where's that from?
That's
a Bourbon Pursuit pick.
Oh, is it really?
Yep.
Oh man, that's awesome. My store pick for them is from Total Wine, and it's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
really good. Really good stuff.
Now I guess I can tell you this, Ed, because you appreciate it. We are working to do a store pick for Hubert's. So we are trying to get that knocked out.
Yeah.
Yep, those guys. Yep.
Good stuff.
Dude, have you had the double oak?
The double oak is wonderful. That's what you have, TJ, right?
It's really
that bottle right there.
That was
that's as good. Actually, I think for a double oak bourbon. You ready, Brian? It gives 10 a run for its freaking money.
Yes!
Okay.
I said the same thing a couple weeks ago.
That just happened.
I'm an Old Foe guy. I love Old Foe. Love it.
I will let these guys send me their bourbon, and I will taste it and decide what I think. That's my role here.
So that's a Meyer store pick.
Yeah.
Single
okay.
And America, as
America
80 would do.
I was saying
a little bit.
Yeah.
And
so my wife
have you been to the distillery? Have you guys been?
I was gonna say, yeah, my wife is part of the wine club there, and part of the wine club, you get, I think it's 24 free tastings, and they honor that for the whiskey side too. So I'm like, absolutely. I think we're going to go this weekend actually. So, and then I'm on the list to get in their whiskey club. That's a little more exclusive, but their tour is amazing. We did that and it was like $30. We got a free cocktail, a pizza at the end.
And you get a tasting glass. And
you get a tasting glass. You get to taste up to 6, I think it is, of their products. And then when we were walking through, the Huberts were there distilling gin, and they're like, "You want to try some gin straight off the still?" I'm like, yeah. And so it was like, "Here, this is 130 proof," and I'm like, "It's really smooth." And then the guy just like starts cranking water into it, and he's like, "Okay, now you should be at the normal level." I'm like, "Yeah, it's still really good."
That was my 50th birthday present. My girlfriend got me. We went to she got cabin, stayed in Brown County in Indiana, and then she's surprised, and we're driving all over hell and gone. I'm like, where the hell are we going? And boom, we end up at Starlight Distillery. I'm like, oh hell no, really? And yeah, you guys do a store. I'm in. Sign me up. That would be awesome.
I've got at least over a case of wine in my cellar right now. As well.
How's there?
As far as red wine from the Midwest, like it doesn't get better than that. Like, it actually changed my connotation. So I used to just Midwest wines were just garbage, mostly way too sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Cabernet, and I travel the world too. So like, I go to Spain, France, Bordeaux, France,
Right.
Chile. Like, I know good red wine, and
Yeah.
Huber's does it well.
Okay. I'm an Old Vine Zin. That's my fave.
Yeah, so I guarantee it would. I don't know if they have Zins, but you would have something there that would fit your flavor profile.
As long as it isn't a Merlot, I'll drink it.
Yep. Nope. They got some.
I'm just not a Merlot fan.
Yeah, they have some Cabernet Francs that are good. Their blends with Petit Verdot are nice. Yeah.
But for a craft, I would say this might be my number 2 on craft distillery because they're doing it right. They got it figured out.
Yeah.
And they're a lot like Bardstown. Some of their finished stuff is just absolutely amazing. They just released
their sherry cask finish is top notch.
So they got a sherry cask, and then they did an experimental whiskey. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was just absolutely amazing. It had hay and smoke and just everything in there. And then they just released a bourbon finished in honey barrels. So they were pulling off the Bella Mead thing. It sold out in 1 hour.
Really?
Yeah. So they're just like.
Have you ever bottled in bond?
Yes.
How's that?
It's really good. So they've got a couple. Picks. If you can get picks from, I think they just do it for fun because they're all family. They have each of the sons kind of like pick their own. And again, the great thing about them is you can go up to the tasting room and try everything beforehand. A couple of their picks from the sons in the bottle and bond was just absolutely amazing.
One kid, he was on one of the Whiskey Tube channels. Had him on because the guy's a big fan of Starlight. And that's like 27 years old.
Oh, they know their stuff.
His whiskey palate is insane.
Yeah, so the wine tasting Chuck and I did along with my wife, like they were just like talking crazy stuff because the one I think it was got his whatever wine horticulture degree from New York and one got it from Canada. And and so they like know everything. So they were talking about how like small temperature fluctuations affected the wine, and then they do the same for the whiskey side, and it's just like they know their stuff. It's crazy.
That is crazy. That is so that I was impressed. I was very impressed.
So I think that's my next degree that I need to try to get.
If I didn't go into sweet corn breeding, I would have been into viticulture. Yeah. Should have done grapes.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you did field corn, you could be working for like Buffalo Trace or Bardstown right now.
Could have been.
But
instead, I'm sitting here with you schmucks.
You could have went for Wild Turkey or Jim Beam.
That's true. Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo Trace, you just make a whole bunch of products and then not like actually let people drink it. It should be sad.
Right.
Shots fired.
Shots fired for being good at marketing.
God.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry.
I don't know. I just Buffalo Trace. The only one that I'm a chaser of is Stag Junior and Stag.
Yeah.
And I have a bottle of Stag Junior 13 that I have about that much left in.
Yeah.
But my unicorn bottle is I want a bottle of Stag, of George T. Stag. That's my.
I said Chuck's got a good Stag story, actually.
Yeah.
I've seen. Yeah, I've heard.
we were standing in line waiting at Old Forester the time that Brian didn't buy this Old Forester barrel strength. And I get a call from
and for the
Benny's.
record,
no. You need to say what you were saying about Benny's before you got the call.
I was at.
Sir.
Well, I mean, it's what we all experience, right? When you're hunting bourbon, you get fed up with the hunt. You get fed up because you have to go in and you have to ask them day after day after day. And you ask these same employees and you're like, hey, do you have anything in the back? And they're like, what do you mean? Just tell me what you have. But and then they make you what do you want? Okay, do you want me to go through this list of literally just let me roll out the scroll? And you do that month after month after month. And that wears you down. I get tired of it.
Well, you feel like you're annoying them every time.
Yeah. Yep. You go in, you look at the shelf, and you're like, ugh. And then you want to walk out thinking, well, maybe I'm obligated to buy something, because then they think, well, he's buying in here. Then they'll give you the back room stuff. Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was on the list for BTAC. So whatever that means at Benny's, you get on these lists, and I'd literally, I think I had been called for a Benny jeez.
You got called for a few things.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But nothing super rare or anything like that.
Although
you have to ask, and that's the other I guess gripe, is that you have to ask specifically for each bourbon to be put on the list. It's if you get put on a list, it's not like you're on the list for everything. You have to ask specifically, I want to be on the list for Four Roses Limited Edition. I want to be on the list for BTAC. I want to be on the list for Barrel Strength. I want to be list on you just have to ask every time. And so I was venting to TJ and Brian about this as we waited in line for 4 hours at Old Forester. And literally 3 hours in, I get a call from an Urbana number, and I don't answer it right away. Then I get a voicemail. and then I answer it, then I hear the voicemail, and I'm just just hand the phone to TJ. Listen.
Oh.
They're yeah, Mr. Thompson, we're
So did you win it, or did you get the option to buy it? Or
option to buy?
Okay.
Option to buy. Yeah.
But
I was on a list, and so William Llewellyn was gone. I think
Pappy,
and Pappy 23 was gone.
And 20.
Well,
Pappy
and Pappy was gone. So just think for a second, though, what might have still been on that list had you picked up the phone the first time? Have you thought about that?
Oh, no.
I literally called back within 37 seconds. So I don't.
Hey, someone else might have been, selling something else.
It's possible, Brian, but I don't think there was much at that point.
Now, Chuck, because of the press,
just sleep with regret. That's all I'm trying to do here. Make you sleep with regret.
There's no regret here.
Because of the press release today, Chuck, you should get on call them tomorrow and be like, I want to be on the Weller foolproof list, because apparently the annual release of that is coming up here in the next week or two.
Give me George T. Stagg over foolproof all day, every day.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I ended up picking. I picked the George C. Stagg, Ed.
Yep.
How was it?
I think my tasting notes I just remember is bold and beautiful.
Actually, so that's so funny, because I went over to Champaign and I spent a whole day with Lance, Whiskey Tornado. We had a fucking amazing day. Pardon my French. We had, I can't, there's no other way to describe it.
Oh, yeah.
I topped out. I think I came home with 12 bottles. I got that Freddie No pick. I had a pour of a barrel pick smoke wagon that might still be the best pour of bourbon I've ever hit, that has ever hit my lips.
Oh, you haven't. So Collective Pour did a.
That's where we got it.
That's better than. So it's better than that smoke wagon.
No,
I've had that smoke wagon.
Dude, the smoke. I told Lance, I said, this is creme brulee in a glass. And he said, you're right. So we had that. Then I got a pour of birthday bourbon.
Yep.
And we went and got, more stuff. And so he sends me a freaking picture, jackass. 2 weeks later, he gets a call from, it's a store there. I don't know. It might have been Harvest Market. Might have been one of the other stores we've been to. Boom. George T. Stagg. Like, really? But he poured us samples, and he poured us the George T. Stagg 2020.
Yep.
It's stupid. So good. So freaking good.
Yeah.
Is that what you got?
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah. And you got, and I think I remember you guys all, you shared it with these guys on the channel.
No, he has not sent us
No,
a sample.
he has not sent us a sample for the channel.
Wait. You were with me at my house when I was deciding my best of 2020, and you tasted it.
Yeah, but we have
times.
We have not done
it for the channel.
Reviewed it for the channel.
I think we need to. Like, is it worth the hype? I think we need to review that.
Let me just
maybe even bring Ed in again. I don't know.
Well, I'll send Ed a sample. That's fine. He hasn't had it. You've both had it.
Well, I haven't had yours. I had my other friends.
I had Lance's, and I'm telling you, is it worth the hype? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's my unicorn bottle. I mean, I've got a Pappy. It's sitting up on my top shelf. Yeah, it's Pappy.
Yeah.
Which Pappy?
Lot
15, 20?
Lot B.
Lot B. Yeah.
Lot B. And then I have a, so this is another crazy one of those, enter the competition. I never win a damn thing. So,
Right.
You guys heard of Hard Truth Distillery in Indiana?
No.
Nope.
No.
If you have a significant other or are just interested in some really cool freaking grounds, go to Hard Truth, Nashville, Indiana. So they did it's called Schoonover, and they did a giveaway, and it was a 14-year bourbon. What it ended up being, it's a 14-year Dickel product. Yeah.
Sign me up.
So
I know. That's Chuck's love language right there.
Send you a sample. So my girlfriend and I both enter the drawing. We enter, it's on Instagram, tag your friend, blah, blah, blah. She sends me a text. She goes, oh my God. We both won. I said, what are you talking about? We both won the tasting and the tour and the whole deal to get to taste this 14-year bourbon. And what had happened, and I'm talking to the guy, and I put two and two together. He said, yeah, there was a company that bought a whole bunch of this 14-year Tennessee whiskey, and they defaulted on it.
Oh.
And so Hard Truth got it.
Oh,
And so
wow.
they bottled it and started and put it out as a special release, and it was called Schoonover. And so we got a bottle of it, and it's 14-year Dickel, and it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, sign me up. I just bought a Resilient 14 recently, which is a 14-year Dickel.
How is that?
Excellent. I mean, I love Dickel, especially aged Dickel. Yeah.
So so we call that our Christmas pour, because we went the weekend before Christmas, and I said every Christmas we're going to pour this bourbon.
Isn't that great? Like, that's what's great about bourbon. It becomes this. I mean, we have TJ's Pappy 15 is our New Year's bourbon. You know.
Yeah.
It's great when somebody else's bourbon that becomes your special occasion bourbon.
I think it's only going to last maybe 2 more years, and then we're done. So you better hope I get lucky to draw in again.
Right. Have you guys? So the E.H. Taylor single barrel.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Biggest.
Oh, this is a good story. So we've already highlighted
this is a good story too.
Biggest miss of his life, where he didn't.
Yeah, biggest regret.
Old faux barrel strength.
Yeah.
This is TJ's biggest regret of his life. Go ahead.
Yeah.
TJ.
So it was.
And we need to circle back to the barrel strength story, because there's more to that.
No. This is TJ's story now. This is
So Liquor Barn used to pre-COVID do a thing where they would release an email and like say, okay, so on Friday or Saturday morning we're going to release these bottles. So you would just go over there, get there. If you're crazy at like 3 a.m., I'm a normal person. I would get there at 6 a.m. Even though they opened at 9 a.m. But all that hunting for PlayStations and Xboxes, you call me a nerd,
Goes back
but
to
it
your
paid off.
Pokemon days. Yeah, okay.
Right. It paid off come bourbon time.
Okay.
And so I walked up and I picked up a bottle of Elmer T. Lee.
Oh my God.
And I put it down and I grabbed the
down.
E.H. Taylor
He put it
single barrel. And then because I really wanted this E.H. Taylor. It was a single barrel and it's got a tube. So I got that. Yeah, so I got that, and then that was back in the day when you could circle back in the line and then go back in and buy anything left. And I called my wife, and so she got in the line.
So this is at Buffalo Trace, right? Because E.H. Taylor's Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, but it was at Liquor Barn because at the end of each month they had a Buffalo Trace release. And so she went through and she's like, "What should I get?" And the Elmer Tea Lees, of course, were gone. The single barrels were gone. Or no, there was still some single barrels left. And I was like,
yeah,
I didn't know it at the time. I was like, just buy a small batch. So she got an E.H. Taylor small batch. I went back through. I got an E.H. Taylor small batch. So I opened the single barrel and the small batch was better. And I was like, what? I should have bought the Taylor or the Elmer T. Lee. So to this day, I wish I bought the Elmer T. Lee over the single barrel. The small batch, in my opinion, is better than the single barrel.
So
you have an Elmer T. Lee on your shelf, by the way, TJ?
You haven't had every single barrel ever.
Have you? Do you have? Are you a E.H. Taylor guy, Chuck?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I have an E.H. Taylor, but
Brian?
it's okay.
No, it's a little too sweet on the front for me.
I have a single or a small batch, and it is just it's flat. It's
interesting.
It's not. I mean,
where are you on the Weller products? Give us your ranking of Weller products in general. So Weller Special, Weller 107, Weller 12, EH or Buffalo Trace products. Sorry.
Okay.
Blanton's,
so,
where are those?
Number one for me is 107. Okay. Weller 107.
We agree.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would probably go Eagle Rare, depending on the bottle.
I have an Eagle Rare store pick, or actually, is that a Bourbon Pursuit pick too?
That is a Bourbon Pursuit store pick.
Yeah, that is really good.
Okay. Then probably Special Reserve, then E.H. Taylor, because my bottle's not that special. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, 107 is.
I agree, Tim.
I've never had 12. I've never had Foolproof. I got a bottle.
I mean, Foolproof, I think, is in a different category just based on proof. Like, that's not fair to compare to the
other. I had a bottle of Blanton's.
So, to be fair, in that original shipment that I sent these guys, I sent them Weller Special, Weller 107, Weller 12, Old Rip, Lot B, and Pappy 15. And the very first thing that Mr. Basil Hayden over there said was, we should just drink the Wellers and the Pappies. And I was like, no, sir. We are going to
I would have just taken the Pappy 15. Like, if you could just give me Pappy 15 as my daily drinker, I would have done it.
See, I've never had any
bottles of it.
Wow. I would not have any other Pappies other than Lot B.
Yeah. So when I first started out, because I liked lower proof, Lot B was way better. But now that I like higher proof stuff, Pappy 15 is better than Lot B.
So what's Pappy 15 proof-wise?
107.
That must be the sweet spot when it comes to Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, so what I've heard, at least from everything I've ever read, is Pappy 20 is the holy grail. Like, that's the one that you want to drink. Pappy 15 is second place. Pappy 23, just sell it because you can get crazy amounts of money and it's over oaked. Right. Lot B is the super smooth one, and Old Rip is the one you put on your shelf and everyone's like, you got a Pappy, even though it's technically not Pappy.
Right. Okay. But so if I'm to be a snob or whatever, my sweet spot, and you guys probably found that out if you watched it, I'm a Booker's guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
People bitch about Booker's. They're like, well, it's so inconsistent. That's the whole point.
Oh yeah, it's the original single barrel.
That's the whole freaking point. It can't be the damn same all the time.
Yep.
The variation is what makes it great between
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's the difference between Ed. You have 130 bottles on the shelf versus the guy that's got 2 bottles, and he's going to drink it to completion, and then he wants that bottle back again.
Right.
And so it's just a transition of
You're
how
right.
you purchase and consume bourbon.
Yeah.
Now, just to tease you, Ed, and anybody else that decides to want to be a Patreon member at the Chuck tier, at the end of the year, this is the first year we are going to get every bottle of Booker's. And so your final flight that we do together, we're going to send you every variation of Booker's, and we're going to try to figure out blind which one's the best.
That's what I did for 2021 on the Whiskey Tornado.
Yep.
Oh,
I
good time.
Yep. And so you mean I gotta add money to Chuck level?
You're already at the truck level.
I think you're already at Chuck level.
I'm like, I'm already there.
Yeah. So you're good. Like,
You're
you're
already
just
there.
locked in. It's going to
There
happen.
might be more too, because
So here's
I want you to taste more than just the Bookers. So
Yeah.
I'll send you other stuff.
That's right. If you haven't had Henderson yet, let me know. I'll hook you up.
Yeah.
There won't be.
I'm out. Chuck, what do you mean? Tastes more than Booker's? What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I
Booker's is
talking about?
fantastic.
I'm talking about a Justin's House of Bourbon's 15 or 13-year Barton pick. I'm talking about a whiskey drummer from 3 Chord that's a 15-year. I think that's a Barton pick. I'm talking about my top 2021 bourbons.
Okay.
Like if I'm saying more than.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not promising anything, Ed. I'm just saying, like, I won't let you just taste Booker's.
Brian, I like this because we're getting sent the same samples. So this sounds like a great
No,
decision.
you're not.
So go
Ed,
back.
like, our pals are sophisticated enough to carry this channel. So
Let's rewind a minute.
So now it's very much like Charlie's finally found like a kindred spirit that like aligns with him on everything, and he's just like
hey,
friend.
Hey, I joined for a reason.
Yeah.
So
I'm just taking care of my own. Take care of my people.
Yeah,
Right.
clearly.
Let's talk 3 Chord for a minute.
Yep.
What's the feeling? Because I can get that all day down here.
Which
And
3 Chord though?
There's 3 of them that I've seen.
So the 3
And I
chords.
didn't really pay attention.
So you got the regular 3 chord, the 3 chord rye, and the 3 chord 12. The 3 chord 12 is very, very good.
Okay.
But
there's different batches of those, right, TJ? So
Yes.
like there are different blends, like a lot of Dickel, some Kentucky bourbon blended in as well. So it's likely Barton.
Yep.
I can't remember if it's got MGP as well, but for sure Barton and Dickel.
It intrigued the crap out of me. I was like, ooh, that looks.
The 12-year is really solid. It was like I found it in Kentucky for $80, and I was like, yes, please. We got to taste it first before I bought it, and actually I passed on it once, and then came back to it. But yeah, it's really good especially if you don't mind that Dickel note.
So
for the $8.
Yeah.
But then there's the Whiskey Drummer, which is 15-year product. That one's more expensive. That one's what was it, DJ? 250?
220.
220?
I think. Yeah, I think 220.
That one starts to cross the barrier into like that's expensive whiskey. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Drinking
Is that old Carter territory? You okay, Ed?
bourbon all night long. I take a drink of water and about die.
Don't drown on us.
Hey, heartburn from a lot of bourbon's real. In there.
Man.
God.
No, because I saw three different bottles of 3 Chord, and I'd heard people talk about it, and I'm like, maybe do I pull the trigger? And I didn't, but because I never talked to anybody that had drank it or that was.
Yeah.
It's a Michigan-based.
Yeah, it's a Michigan-based,
right? Okay,
right.
Yeah.
But they're sourcing. So,
have you guys had this?
Oh yeah, I haven't had
Have
the
we
pipe
had this?
dream. I've had the what one is it? The Lost Monarch. Lost Monarch is amazing. Yep, absolutely.
If you like, get you some of this. I like them all. I mean,
Yeah.
they're doing shit right.
Yeah.
This is a cinnamon red hot bomb right here.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say Cinnabon bomb, and I was like, hey, boy, do I have something for you.
No, right.
No.
Not as sweet as Wolfire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, we're talking stuff we can like really drink.
And it says bourbon on the bottle, not like flavored whiskey.
It says
I think it said bourbon substitute.
no. It says bourbon whiskey.
Yeah, they're doing some good stuff. So
Real good stuff. Yep. I was impressed, and I got turned on by the bourbon junkies.
yeah. Oh yeah. That's the same people who they kept saying over and over, like, do this. So
They're like Redwood Empire, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, ooh, that's California shit. I don't know about that.
yeah. That's wine country.
So again, lived in Northern California, right outside Napa forever. Go on a wine tasting tour. I'm like, this is garbage. And let's go full circle now. And now I know what good wine is. So
Yep.
I will go back, put it that way. I'm sure
we
you
have-
have Napa a couple times, Chuck.
Well, don't we have to thank Napa Valley for Old Carter? Like, didn't the Old Carter people come from Napa?
That's true.
Right?
That is
right.
In a way.
another bourbon I have not had.
About the battery.
And I've heard fantastic things about Old Carter.
Oh. Yeah, I just talked to
Never had
Chuck
Old
about
Well, if you've listened to us,
PJ's almost speechless over there.
yeah.
You never had Old Carter?
Chuck's the one. So
Shut
Old
up.
Carter just announced
Okay.
they're dropping like 4 batches and they're like $200 a bottle. So Chuck's just like, just put it on my tab because
That's
it's
not what I said. That's not what I
yeah.
said.
I'm pretty sure. Really? Okay, so I will not.
I
go look
appreciate
for
you
it.
trying to like build up this persona that I'm just like, to like make it rain.
That's awesome.
It's a bit more subdued than that. Like I
Okay.
do consider the purchases.
I would say,
Now,
Brian, you
when it
heard
comes
it.
to
You heard
purchase
it first.
time and you
I
say
should
like,
not.
hey, there's 3
I
of
should
these
not
bottles,
go
I'd be
search
like,
for Old
okay,
Carter.
buy 'em.
Mm.
No, that's
No.
not what I said. That's
I'm
not what I
pretty sure, Brian. Is that what you heard? Don't look for the Old Carter.
Is that what you heard?
Oh,
said.
okay.
I
So,
just
so
said,
here,
like,
here,
you're just
okay,
like,
here-
yeah, buy all 3, buy all of them, buy all of it.
here's
everything.
my dilemma. Is on one side, I can side against Chuck, which is always feels good. But on the other side,
Wow.
if I say no, that's not what you heard, Chuck needs to buy all these bottles, then I get to try these bottles. So I want to try them bottles. So that's not what you heard. Spend his money.
You better be jumping in some frozen pools sooner than later.
I see how it is, Chuck. I see how it is. Yep.
Oh.
So
If you've never had an Old Carter, we'll remedy that very soon. Yeah, very soon.
So once my house closes, I've already told my 2021 is the year I turned the big 50. Okay,
Okay.
and you guys might not be there yet. You might have a long time, but anyway, that's what
Some
that's
of us longer than others.
Brian's really close.
Yeah, Brian's got like 4 years.
whatever. It's a number. Who gives a shit?
That's right.
That's right.
Who gives a shit?
So, but 2021, that's why I want the first release of Booker's, because they released it the year I was turned 50 and the month, because they cut it loose in January and then
Yeah.
spread it out. So that's why I want the Donahoe batch big time. So once my house closes, there's 2 things I'm doing. One, I'm a huge fly fisherman, big time. So I got a buddy back home. Basically,
Montana?
you got Pappy in Bourbon and you got R.L. Winston in fly rods. Okay. I said, you're going to go to the Winston shop and you're going to get me a fly rod. It's about 4 digits. We'll just say that. A lot of money. But it's something because I'm 50. It's a one-time deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next thing I'm thinking,
It's like that shotgun I just bought.
right, Bernelli or whatever.
It was a Browning.
Oh,
Satori.
over and under.
1989. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Silver receiver. So, yeah, it's beautiful.
You're a bird hunter, huh?
Bird hunter. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm telling my
You got
buddy,
the Vislas to prove it.
give me the. Oh, okay, nice. So I
Of course, I don't know if they
the
hunt
other
yet.
thing I want to get, being I don't have one on my shelf, let's grab an old Carter because I think it's attainable. It's not a pappy where I have to
That's right. Yeah.
damn lottery.
Right.
And I've heard every person that's drank Old Carter said it's fantastic bourbon. So let me know, Chuck, TJ, whoever rounds up a bottle of Old Carter or can get more than one, I'll send you the cash.
All right.
So, well, I think they're releasing 2 batches of bourbon too. So it's
2 batches of bourbon.
Whether I could. I mean, I can.
Yeah.
It's always a question of whether you should purchase all of that.
Right. So the 2 bottles I'm after this year, big time, are the Booker's first release, just because it's sentimental. And then I would love to get an Old Carter, and I will buy all the Bookers, and then we'll do the tasting. And fantastic.
Sounds good. Yeah. Well, for sure, we'll send you a sample of Carter. I got.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd love
Well,
it.
I mean, and to be fair, I passed by a Kroger on my way to and from work tomorrow, Ed, so I'll stop by and see what I can do for you. It might even be on sale.
Oh, yeah, that.
No, you got to wait a couple months, and then Kroger puts their bourbon on sale because they're afraid it's going to expire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
old bourbon.
Or they put a case of the Redneck Riviera out there for $12.
I mean, that's when Brian just goes crazy.
Is it the 2-pack? I mean, if it's the 2-pack,
he likes a little Granny Reserve in with his Redneck Riviera.
You drink mellow corn, Brian? You mellow corn guy?
We need to do that. We have not done a mellow corn night yet.
I bought
Not yet.
I do. I will say there is a bottle of mellow corn in my collection. I have
How long ago did you buy it? Like, is it still in your collection because you just don't drink it, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Chuck. Yes, it is in there because I took one drink and I'm like, holy cow! Canola oil tastes better than that.
Yeah. So my problem on stuff like that is I do not have a large bourbon area. I have been graciously allocated by my wife a little area for my bourbon. And so the rule is if it doesn't fit, it doesn't come home. And so when I buy, I don't know, like Greenbrier Sour Mash, I have to drink the entire thing before I can get space for something else. And so there's a few of these I actually have to stomach through in order to get something better. And so it's a fun experience. Yes. Okay. Yes, Chuck.
Do you have a crawl space?
I do.
I mean, that's just the idea for bourbon storage.
Here's your
you
second
need to get more creative. Do you have an office at work, Ryan?
Yes, because that's what I want at work. Because I feel like that's not going to get me fired.
I'm just saying, like, it's great for a professor to have bourbon storage at work.
That's true.
You need to get more creative.
That's true.
Just to say that, like, hey, this isn't possible. Like, you're shutting things down.
But then there's a whole,
I don't like the negativity. Your gosh dang negativity, Brian. Right now, I just can't handle it.
Are you encouraging me to wiggle through kind of that gray area, lying, not lying to my wife over the amount of bourbon I have?
Brian, now problem solve the same way you ask your students to problem solve.
Right.
Now, Brian, as a teacher, which I understand is not the same as a professor, but as a teacher, we are supposed to like understand and empathize with our students. And I feel like the college student does a lot of drinking. So by you having a large bourbon collection, you are learning to empathize with your student, making you a better professor.
I'm not really sure I follow
expanding their
TJ's.
palates, Brian. Expanding their palates.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Understanding what quality is.
I will say, much like I feel like much like a lot of things. I'll just skip right to something I shouldn't have said to something I will say. I feel like drinking with your students is frowned upon. I feel like drinking with your students is frowned upon.
I don't think nobody suggested drinking with your students.
Right. No. And if I recall back on one of your earlier videos.
Yeah.
Ed, I can't be accountable for everything I say. I don't even know what I say half the time.
I'm going. Listen, this is what you do with bourbon. That's, I believe Chuck is a barbecue connoisseur. Maybe it's somebody is.
Yes,
No,
it's Chuck.
It's Chuck and Brian.
Do you know what you do with bourbon, Brian? You make barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, I understand you wouldn't use your redneck Riviera for that, but your Old Flow barrel strength, you probably would. So
or your
can we some of us work on what we call a budget, and so
why are you putting that in quotation marks? I don't even need to put that in quotation marks. It's a budget.
And so I only have so much money. I was feeling comfortable enough to spend that weekend that would also then allow me to come home.
Let me just ask you this question.
Have a home to come
that
to.
Weekend, what was your biggest regret? The Old Folk barrel strength or the 12-year
Lux
Row? Yeah.
The 12-year what?
So
Lux
if you've
Row.
never gone to Lux Row,
it's good.
they have a 12-year. So it's
Had.
2 barrels
Past tense.
that are 12 years that they blend together. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It made my top 5
And
last
so it's what, about 35 minutes from your house, TJ?
No, it's like 45, 50.
45 minutes from your house. And so I regret it, and it's available there at the distillery, pretty readily available,
You
actually.
didn't answer my question. Which one was their biggest regret?
Hold on, we're getting there. And so the Lux Row 12 was fairly readily available at the distillery. It was a huge regret from that weekend. Now the price point's about $150. And I, for months, asked TJ to go back and get me a barrel or a bottle for the next time we get together. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll go." Well, 6 months later,
blaming TJ for
he
your
finally goes,
indecision in the
and it's like,
moment.
"Oh, that's
Is that what I'm getting?
discontinued."
So what I'm hearing, Chuck. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So anyway, so back to my decisions.
Just to have fun with Brian.
Ooh.
Oh, what? The 12. Okay, so do any of you guys have it?
I do too.
How is it?
It's
It's
amazing.
Really it made my top 5 of 2020.
Oh,
Yeah. If you can find a bottle, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't pay $200. It's not Old Carter territory, but it's
I
good.
think like retail is it's 149,
149, 139.
At that point.
Yeah.
You're splitting hairs out.
Okay. So biggest regret of that weekend was the Old Carter at 89, or sorry, Old Forester at 89. Not getting that. But here's the thing. At that point, I thought through. Okay, here's what I'm getting. And it was between the Bardstown Pfeiffer and the Old Foe Single Barrel. And I'm like, which one do I want to get? And I had decided I'm going Bardstown Pfeiffer.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why I passed
Whoa, Brian, wait a minute. Old Foe Snob, you go with Bardstown?
Well,
what's wrong?
I try to diversify my palate as much as possible, and this is a time where
have you had the Pfeiffer?
Regret that.
I have not, but I watched the video, and both of these guys were raving about the single. But
yeah,
I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I will say the single, but so this is the funny thing. So all 3 of us bought a President's Choice that day, and I gave my President's Choice to Brian and kept my Old Foe barrel strength because it was better than the President's Choice.
Right, you guys did it.
It was already determined that I was buying the President's Choice.
So did you get the Pfeiffer, Brian?
Yes, I got the Pfeiffer. It is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Chuck has one as well.
I have the first one and the second one.
Mm-hmm.
So
and the XO.
Yeah. So
you just gotta come pick it up.
Gentlemen?
Yeah, I haven't tasted the XO.
Ooh.
Chattanooga. You're opening it up?
Nice.
Seal on the Apricot Barrel Chattanooga whiskey.
Oh,
all right.
So let's see what we got. Continue your story, Brian.
No, so that was kind of the gist of it. Is I knew I was getting my presidents that morning. There were some other things I knew I wanted to get. I walked away with 4 or 5 bottles that weekend, and then I bought like 8 more bottles for friends. And I just didn't have, it was one of those. I was like, it was Pfeiffer, Old Food, single barrel proof, and I went to Pfeiffer. We'd had it the night before. I'd had it for the first time because I think Chuck picked it up for the first time. And I was like, this is stinking phenomenal. I knew what I was getting in the Pfeiffer. I didn't know what I was getting in the Old Foe.
Right.
So I went with what I knew. Still phenomenal, but I really wish I would have just, spent the extra $90 and gotten in the doghouse with the wife, and then I would have that.
Temporary. The doghouse would have been temporary. You'd built up enough capital over time. You would have been out of there in no time.
So,
yeah, see, I would just prefer. She's awesome. My wife is awesome, so I prefer just to not get in the doghouse to begin with, because she doesn't deserve that.
So
I just don't think it would have been very long lasting at all.
Have you guys had any of you guys had the 150 Old Forester?
TJ has. Right. TJ, where are you?
I'll be right back.
Did you leave?
I'll be right back, dude.
So
TJ's had the 150.
Lance from Whiskey Tornado, he had another opportunity. That guy, I swear, he fell into it within about a 3-week span. Another store calls him, says, I have a 150 available. Do you want it? Hell yeah. Right? So I have a little bit left.
Ooh.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that was on the. So
yeah.
I had bought. So
I would take that over birthday.
Michter's 10. And we had an extra midwinter night dram that we were trying to trade.
Okay.
And Old Foe 150 was on that trade list that we'd be interested in, and we couldn't make it work. It ended up being we ended up trading for a 117.
Okay.
Or 21 extra 117. I can't remember what else, but yeah.
Right.
So TJ, are you with us now?
I am with you.
Okay. So Ed was asking about 150 because he's had a pour and it was phenomenal.
Okay.
Old Foe.
And I said you had tasted it.
So good. So good.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Really good.
I kind of want to say the 117 might be a little bit better.
Really?
But the one I'm really excited for, I don't know if you've seen, so the 117 they're releasing in August is going to come from Warehouse K, which is where all the King of Kentuckys come from. So that could be good.
When is this? August?
August. So it'll again be a distillery only release. This time people will know what they're doing. I'll probably
like Jackie Zykin doesn't know what she's doing.
Oh yeah. Well,
right?
so it's funny. So the idea of the 117 series is to give them something, and I love the concept behind it. I think I've heard Heaven Hill's doing the same thing. If you do a tour with them, they want you to be able to buy a special bottle, which I completely get. And I have no problem with them saying the only way to get this bottle is to do a tour. Right. Like, it's selfish of me because I live in Louisville, but for anyone that doesn't live in Louisville, like, you deserve the right to have something when you come do that. And they have the right to give you something special. So that was what the idea of 117 was, but it sold out super quick. So, and they were acting like they didn't know it would do that. I'm like, come on. Like, you knew it was going to sell out.
Right.
But that's what they hope to get to. And now supposedly the rumor is Heaven Hill, if you go to a tour with them, they're holding back allocated bottles that you have the right to buy. And again, I am completely okay with that.
At the distillery, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
Let's do some tours, boys.
Well, and then now Bardstown with the distillery only releases. If you do their tour, you get to do a pour your own bottle experience at the end. So you pay for the cost of the bottle, but you can pour it yourself, which is pretty cool.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. All right.
I like that.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. Like these, again,
Instead
all
of
these
allocating
people.
a weekend, I think I need to allocate a week for the next
Yeah.
visit.
And we will go everywhere, but I mean, I don't know.
And I need to work a second job leading up to it.
Like I say, I don't want to go to Buffalo Trace, but I will say,
Sell a house, Brian.
Yeah. The Buffalo Trace
Take out a second.
The Buffalo Trace Hard Hat Tour is absolutely amazing.
Really?
Yeah. So it's the cool thing about Buffalo Trace, all their tours are free. You just have to sign up and get to it. But the Hard Hat Tour takes you from the beginning. So they show you where they dump the grain all the way through the distilling process, and then you get to taste some stuff. The only tours I would say that are slightly better or just as good is Peerless and the Old Foe Distillery Tour on Whiskey Row, because they have a cooperage on staff there, so they show you how they actually make the barrels. You get to flame a barrel on the tour and everything like that, which is really
Are those
cool.
open yet because of COVID?
Peerless is. I'm not sure about Old Foe yet.
Yeah.
The best.
Well, when we were there in January, the first thing they had just opened the gift shop, even so like they were definitely not open.
Nice. The best tour I've been on was Jack Daniels.
We have not done a Jack tour. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Jack, I'm pretty sure they still do it. So if you're an employee of Jack Daniels, the first Friday of every month, they call it Good Friday. Everybody that's employed by Jack Daniels gets a bottle of whiskey. There was a guy that did our tour. He'd been working there for 37 years, 35 years. He said, I've never missed a Good Friday. He moved anniversaries, graduations. He said, listen, I'm getting my free bottle of bourbon.
Absolutely. Well,
and they'll take you from the spring, the limestone water spring, over to where they burn the pallets, the maple wood pallets to get the charcoal.
Yeah.
All the way through to what they call the White Rabbit Bottle House. And I've heard they've changed it, but before you could only get single barrel, barrel proof, special releases at the barrel house. You could not buy Old Number 7. You could not buy any other Gentleman Jack. You could only buy single barrel, barrel proof, and the special releases on site, because that's a dry county.
Oh.
But the grounds are ridiculous, and every drop of Jack Daniels that's sold in the world is distributed in Lynchburg. So it's a great tour. Oh, see you, Chuck. What'd you cut him out?
No, his internet
His phone died.
His phone probably died.
Yeah, he said his phone was.
Which means he's probably like upset right now, which is always fun.
Well, this is past his bedtime too.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of mine too, but whatever.
Been great.
Well, I don't think Ed quite knows what it means for Chuck to be up past his bedtime.
No.
He is a man of routines.
Yep.
Oh.
So it takes something special for him to be willing to break the routine. So.
Yep.
So on my Chattanooga whiskey.
Yeah. How are you liking that? I was interested to hear.
I would say, if we're talking about experimentals, buy the tequila barrel.
Interesting.
This
Okay.
It's different. It's apricot brandy barrel. I think the tequila's got a better mouthfeel, better finish. I like it better.
All right.
And I love what Chattanooga Whiskey's doing. I think they're doing some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have to give them more of a shot. It'll be interesting. So we just had, I think it was the 111.
What's their distribution area look
They're
like? You know,
pretty widespread now. I think I read somewhere that they're. I know they're Indiana for sure. I know they're Illinois.
They're in
Have you
Kentucky.
seen them in Missouri yet?
I'm trying to remember if I've seen it on the shelf. I don't think I've seen it anywhere, or if I did,
they're in Kentucky.
I didn't recognize it.
And they're in Tennessee. They have 91, 101 rye, and I believe the port finish is going to be a regular release.
Yeah, I think they said that the port's going to be pretty regular.
So for a craft distillery, they're doing some good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I give them props just like I give New Riff props in the fact that the original product they released, they admitted they sourced, and they made a very like everyone knew when they switched to their product. They didn't try to hide it like some people do. And so and they do stuff different. They do a high malt bourbon, which is interesting.
They do. It's very different. If you're expecting your average bourbon profile, you're not going to get it.
No.
Same with New Riff. I'm like you. I like New Riff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I think
how can you not?
I'm ready for their 6-year-old malted rye that they're releasing coming up here.
Really?
Have you
got the Balboa?
Yeah, I had the Balboa, and it is absolutely amazing.
The Balboa was our number one rye.
Yeah,
on our rye-off episode, actually. It beat out E.H. Taylor rye.
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Be right back.
Okay.
I think, did we all have Balboa as the top rye on that one, or did one of us have the rare breed? I can't remember.
I think we all had the Balboa.
But then it was either, I think two of us had rare breed second, and then one had E.H. Taylor, and vice versa. I don't remember that.
That might be the case. Chuck's back. He plugged himself in.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Found a power cord.
Found the power cord. Phone died. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't expect to go 2.5 hours either, but it's so much
No,
fun.
I did not either. This is like a bourbon-a-thon.
But rare breed was definitely like the more traditional pick.
Yes.
Balboa was just different.
Yeah. Well, I think we all appreciated the uniqueness of the Balboa, and it was done. The uniqueness of it is done well. Like sometimes something's different and is just off or funky. Other times it's different and that really works very nice. That's I think where Balboa hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Well, speaking of overpriced stuff, so
the type of grain.
I was just saying, speaking of overpriced stuff, so my friend, the same store that he sent me a picture of the Jack Daniels for $99. They had the rare breed rye for $89.
Oh gosh.
I was like, no.
That rare breed rye is good stuff.
Yeah, not $89 good. I mean, if you're honey and really, really need it and want it on your shelf, maybe. But at that price point, this guy's not pulling the trigger at that price point.
Again, another one when you're passing through Kentucky, stop by Kroger.
Yep.
$60.
Rare breed rye?
Yep. I've seen it just sit and collect dust.
Oh my! What the?
Maybe you can find it. Didn't Brian was looking for that and couldn't find it.
I found them. Yeah, we're good.
The Kroger I sent you to, but I forgot that it didn't
in
open till
Kentucky?
late. That you ate sushi in the parking lot and then went to Heaven Hill instead. They had like 3 cases of it for $60. I actually went there the other day and they had another one. And I was like, "Do I buy it?" And mine's still halfway.
Yeah, but
who ate sushi in the parking lot?
Those two in the truck together ate sushi.
Yeah, it was COVID. It was COVID, so we couldn't go in. We were
What do you
hungry.
mean
We were on the hunt,
We had to.
and sushi sounded good. So sushi bros.
TJ gave us
in
the
the
wrong
truck.
time. He's like, "Oh, this liquor store doesn't or opens at noon. Go
So
there."
where'd you get sushi?
Well, it didn't
Kroger?
open at noon.
They have good
Yeah.
sushi, by the way.
Yeah,
They're
they got
There was some
sushi.
restaurant that had it.
No, there was a place on the way to Heaven Hill that we ended up finding.
Yeah. So, but like speaking of collecting dust, and people are going to hate me for saying this, but like you're talking about rare breed rye collecting dust. You know, being in Missouri, every now and then traveling to Oklahoma for something, go to Tulsa or whatever, and Weller Special is just on the shelf everywhere, like for $20, $22. You
Shouldn't
can find
that
a
collect
liter
dust?
of it for like 32. And it's everywhere. Just Weller Special. Just like it's no big deal. All over the place. So
Let's be honest. Shouldn't that collect dust?
No.
they're 6 to 8 deep.
What do you think, Ed?
Multiple liquor shelves. So
He said the
What's the apple brandy?
It's the apricot brandy. I think
Apricot. I said apple.
I think the tequila barrel is better. So when I was there, they had 3 bottles of this left. This is one of 3.
oh wow.
nice.
So if y'all want to taste,
There you go.
is it Old Carter tradable? Kidding. Totally kidding.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Chuck's willing to trade
I'm
Brian's
probably
old
gonna
I
say
Carter.
knew you
no
were
problem.
going there. I knew
So
I was
it's
like,
like,
well,
if you wanna
trade
see-
Brian's.
Hell no. Hell no. I mean, Chat Whiskey's doing some great stuff. They're not Old Carter level. Not even close. Not even close.
No, but that's okay, right? Like that's not. Yeah.
You'll just have to wait till the next quarter when we send you 4 new samples, and you see what we send you that time.
Right. Uniqueness is what it's all about. I think
Absolutely.
with these new stuff, with these new distilleries, and Chattanooga is not afraid. They're not afraid. They'll do whatever the hell they want. I mean, some of it is not good. It's not good. But
Not good.
I'm not kidding. I mean, people have said it is not good, but and I'm a big fan. Their 111 is really good. What do you got there?
Yeah, what do you
With
got
that
there?
Sazerac?
This is a resilient 14 year.
Oh.
Oh.
Look
Can't
at you.
figure out how to get to the front of the
So is resilient Dickel?
This is Dickel. That's Dickel, yeah. It says I
Yeah,
think it
Charlie
says,
loves his Dickel.
Yeah.
distilled in Tennessee. And then by the taste, you know.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not distilling Jack Daniels, you ain't distilling in Tennessee.
Well, and Ed, so like kind of what you like about Chattanooga, I mean, that's kind of one of the things I've always appreciated about 80 Laws is just they do all kinds of different variants of things. They have their standard line.
Right.
But even the guy that runs the place, I've talked to him before. He's just like, I don't want to, like, my goal here isn't to be like this Jack Daniels, like, or big place that have my standard party. I want to have fun along the way. I want to do different things that interest me. And so they come out with all kinds of good stuff. And some of it is great. Others of it's like, I don't know if I've had anything where I've just been like, oh, that's bad though. So
on the makers line, have you guys done the cast strength?
Oh yeah.
So
Have you had the cast strength 46?
No.
Whoa.
No. And I've heard nothing but ridiculous things about it.
cast strength 46.
Yeah, there's
What?
Chuck.
Look at Chuck. He's got it.
Of course.
Hey, Chuck,
Yeah.
how'd you get that bottle again?
You. Thank
Yeah,
Can
you.
I do the Blake Shelton finger?
Yeah, there was
Wait a
so.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on.
So Chuck being one of those that's all like data centric and everything, he literally texted me 1 month and he was like, just so you know, the bourbon store I spent the most money at was you.
What?
So when I go shopping for bourbon, I always
Yeah.
send him pictures and I'm like, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? And so like 1 month, he's like, I spent more money at the bourbon store of TJ than I did any other
TJ
bourbon
store.
store.
Right. Oh, man.
Yeah, it can be very dangerous to have a friend that lives in Louisville.
Yeah.
No joke. So I was never a Makers fan until I hit their cast strength stuff.
Mhm.
Ooh, they're doing it right.
Well, and that's another one that Fred Minnick's talked about a couple times because he's so well connected.
Right.
He has
Right.
tasted some like 12 to 14-year-old barrels of theirs.
He said they're better than Pappy.
Yeah, exactly. But they won't release them. They blend
Right.
them into the
Right.
younger stuff. And I'm like, come on.
I listened to that same, I think it was a podcast.
Yeah.
And he said Makers is stuck on, we know it sells. We're going to sell regular Makers. And I'm thinking, are you freaking kidding me?
Well, and that's the thing that kills me is, to be honest, if I look at the two biggest like brands out there when you just talk to the general public, it's going to be Maker's Mark and it's going to be Woodford Reserve. And the crazy thing is everybody thinks Woodford Reserve should be drank neat and Maker's Mark should be a mixer. And it's the opposite. Woodford should be the mixer and Maker's should be drank neat.
If Woodford went to 100 proof, it would be epic.
Oh, yeah.
It would be fantastic. And Makers, regular Makers to me is, I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
I mean, regular Makers, I think, at the price point for what it is pretty good. But I get what you're saying to some extent. But it's.
And the 101.
I love the nose on Makers. Like it's got that cherry bomb on the nose.
Yeah.
That most bourbons at that price point like lack on the nose.
Yeah.
I
will agree.
Wide mouth glass at a bar, like it doesn't, like you're not going to get that nosing experience anyway. So,
But
I will say at the Maker's price point, I do think you might be able to get something with a better finish or palate potentially. But
the
I
cast
concur.
Cast strength for the price, good, real good stuff.
Yep. Definitely.
Now, Ed, have you had the Maker's 101?
Oh, yeah. Yes. And that is so out of my 140 plus bottles, it's the only bottle that I've quote unquote lost. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I took it. I brought it from my house, took it to my girlfriend's house for a tasting. I have no idea what the hell happened to that bottle.
So we've got a.
In Georgia, it's $80.
Jeez, that's
I'm not
crazy.
$80.
no.
That's one, Ed. I can get you at Collective Pour for like 35.
35, 39, 95 all day.
Yeah, there's no way.
So we've got. So
I'm not kidding.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
So we've got a video coming up on Altesia. We did. So I sent them a Weeder flight, Weller Special,
Okay.
Maker's Mark Regular, Weller 101, and Rebel Yell 100. And they didn't know what the order was. And my wife poured mine, so I had no idea. There are some surprises.
I can't wait for that. I really can't wait because I have. So you had 101.
Yep.
Weller.
Weller Special, just the green
Special,
label.
Right.
And
Rebel 101.
Rebel 100. And
Rebel
then,
100.
Yeah.
And what else?
And then regular Maker's Mark.
So the only one I don't have on my shelf is regular Makers.
Yep.
I'm interested. I'm very interested to see what you guys.
Spoiler alert: Makers came in top 4.
Oh, top! No shit, Brian. Really?
There's Brian. There's Brian coming with the math. He's the math professor.
I'm telling you. So.
Hey! Thoughtful thoughts like that are where you stick around.
Oh, that's.
Thoughtful
Yeah,
thoughts like that.
I can't wait for that video. Because I was. We'll just put it this way. Sorely disappointed in 100 on Rebel Yell.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious to see what you guys think of it.
It's one of those. So what I really enjoy, and these guys know it, is so Brian just loves sending us random cheap shit and enjoying seeing what we do. I enjoy like really stopping and thinking and throwing super hard to find bottles that shouldn't be, like Weller Special, Weller 107, and the biggest disappointment of the Weller lineup, Weller 12.
Yes.
Against other things. So then people realize, like, stop the hype.
Mm-hmm.
You can get other things on the shelf right now that are just as good, if not better.
Right.
So
agree 1,000%.
And then we got Chuck, who buys a $300 bottle of bourbon and shows us that sometimes money does definitely do quality.
What's the bottle on my shelf?
You've never bought a $300 bottle.
Oh man,
he's never bought $300.
Have I ever bought $300 bottle?
Well, after tax.
I mean, I guess 250 is the max, but you did give me permission if I find what is it?
No.
If I find the last drop from Buffalo Trace 1980 for $8,000, I can buy it and you'll reimburse me.
Did I say that?
Yes,
or
you did.
You can be Chad and Sarah and pick up the phone and they'll just send it to them.
I wish we were that amazing that we could just get stuff like that sent.
Yeah, in about 315 years, we'll have that kind of pull.
Yeah. Or think 1984, 83 Bookers.
Oh, yeah. That would be one of those samples that gets sent to me and then gets lost for them.
No shit. Right? Yeah. Yeah, that gets lost. Yeah.
I don't believe that, actually.
You're right. I would be like, hey, come to Louisville and we will drink
you would
this
want to
together.
share it with somebody. Yeah. There's that's the point of bourbon. Like if you enjoy it with somebody, it's like if a tree falls in the wood, does it make a sound? If you drink a bourbon by yourself, does it taste like
it does not taste as good by yourself.
I can share it with my wife and my father-in-law.
Fact. Oh, come on. Don't you dare go that way. I mean, I love Mike. He's a Patreon supporter.
Really?
I love Mike.
So, funny story. My very first date with my girlfriend, we went to the Irish Lion, Bloomington, Indiana. They have a fantastic bourbon lineup. And she says, I'm going to drink bourbon with you. I'm like, okay. I've never drank it before. I'm like, all right. So you will drink Basil Hayden because that's what brought me in.
Yeah.
I had Michter's 10. I've never had it.
Yeah.
Really good bourbon. And she's drinking Basil, loves it. To this day, every time I pour Basil, she's a big fan. Until I pour her Weller 107. Game over.
Yeah.
Game over. She's like, oh my God, this is so good.
Yeah.
And I said, of course you like this. I can't find it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you love it.
No, I think that's like, and we've talked about this as an idea for a future episode. It's just like, what's your entry flight?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a person that doesn't really drink bourbon, maybe has dabbled in it, but like, what's your flight to bring people into bourbon? I think it includes Basil Hayden's. And then it include like the weededs. The weeders
Henderson.
do tend to drink nicer. So like Weller Special Reserve, Weller 107, like
right.
And that's what's great about 107. I think that bridges the gap. Those of us that have been drinking bourbon for a long time love the barrel strengths.
But we're still
come back to
107.
That's a really good bourbon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say Weller
107. So that's the gap. That bridges the gap.
Weller 107 is that bottle that starts you into your barrel proof journey, because it's the first, because it's higher proof, but it's got the weeded sweet notes, and so it doesn't bring all that barrel spice and ethanol burn and everything.
Yeah. Another one that I think is entry, but it's quality, is that Jack Daniel's single barrel.
Yeah.
Single
not
barrel.
Not the barrel proof, but just the single barrel select.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Flavor is so good.
Any Jack Daniels that's not the old number 7
or
is amazing.
Yeah, or Gentleman Jack.
Yeah, or Gentleman Jack. So
yeah,
but honestly, those are, like, if you're not a bourbon drinker, like, that comes with a connotation. Like, it's Jack Daniels. Like, that's not good bourbon. That's not good whiskey. Right?
That's what everybody says. They're like, old number 7 is garbage. Well, okay, but if you are to go out and to buy Beam White Label or Jack Daniel's Old Number 7, I'm taking Old Number 7 myself. That's my take.
That's not a blind that I've done, Ed, nor do I want to.
Just give Brian time, Chuck. You'll do it.
Yeah, that's a quote that Charlie actually throws in my direction a lot. I'm used to hearing that.
Yeah,
that's not one I will be interested in or want to.
What do you got there, TJ?
I've got the Lost Monarch. I'm gonna have to go with that. Like, it's been my go-to lately. Like, anytime I'm like,
pine needles, huh?
No.
I do. When my wife tried it, she just smelled it and she goes, "That's man,
that's a
right there."
That's man.
Hey,
she's like, "I wish you smelled like this."
Everything that you
so,
are not.
If you can get your wife to cut you $30,
he's got a bottle for you. Yes, you need to buy that, Brian.
No joke.
Cooper's Craft.
I'm not kidding.
Okay,
$30.
I'll look for it.
So here's the fun thing, Brian. So Cooper's Craft is a call out to the Coopers, so the people that actually make the barrel.
Ooh.
Do you know who actually makes the distillate?
Well, I mean, this is the first I'm hearing of Coopers, so
Brown-Forman.
Oh, really?
It is an old faux product. Yeah.
It's a Brown-Forman.
Nice. Hey, where's that one from, Ed? That's a store pick, right?
Nope. That's
just single barrel.
Where Chuck? Yep.
Oh,
Champaign, Illinois.
Collective pour. Champaign, Illinois.
Collective pour. Go online, Brian. Collective pour. Some of the best prices you've ever seen.
Okay. Yeah. So
Chuck
I actually just finished my Old Faux single barrel store pick last night. So I'm actually in the hunt for a new one.
Collective pour.
So we've been saying that Chuck needs to reach out to the guy that does Whiskey Tornado, because Chuck's got 3 bottles of this Old Faux 117, and he needs to share a pour of it with him.
Let me reach out to Lance, because Lance and I.
There you go.
I'm a Patreon to Whiskey Tornado. I will reach out. We'll bring him on.
Sounds
or
good.
Vice versa.
because Chuck is willing to share
Perfect.
a pour of his Old
And
Fo
he
117.
lives in Champaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just seems like a good connection, regardless.
Yeah.
Yep. It would be fantastic if Chuck or you guys and Whiskey Tornado could get together. We'll do barrel pick, regardless where it is.
Yeah. We'd be interested.
Hell yeah.
I thought it had an in, Ed. I thought it had an in at old Brown Foreman,
Ooh.
and it is just really freaking hard to get a barrel pick.
All right.
I mean, well, we could get a barrel pick of 90 proof, or we could get a barrel pick of straight Jack, or that wasn't our, like, personally, I want the Old Fo barrel strength. I want Jack Daniel's barrel strength.
Barrel strength. Right.
Yeah.
I want things that I want to drink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not,
So that
everybody
those are super
can't-
allocated.
Right. Something that everyone can't get, but you can if you work at it.
right. And if it's not going to pass our
Right.
approval rating, we don't want to just do it for the sake of doing it. It's got to meet
Yes.
a certain quality.
It's got to meet the palate, kind of, the
So we could have done a Woodford double oaked, and we just haven't found a double oak that we liked yet. So
right.
I mean, I feel
Wasn't ready to
feel
pull the
like we
trigger.
can think of
You
at
can't
least
do-
one double oak that we
You
tend to
can't
like.
do a store pick of 1910.
No, they don't. I
that
mean,
wasn't on
I'm
the
like,
list.
I
Brian.
think we all like 1910, and I feel like there's a lot of people who
that
have
wasn't
mentioned they like the
available.
1910.
I said a Woodford double oaked.
That's true.
You know, I think we should do that. Woodford double oaked, Olfo 1910, Hubert's double oaked, and we got to figure out a fourth and send it to Brian. Do a live stream and see what he uses.
and do that. Sorry, that bullshit Eliza Craig toasted.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you're not a fan of Elijah Craig toasted?
Haven't had it, but I don't like the hype.
So
I'm not a hype guy.
Right.
It is getting
It's
to
not
the
bad.
point of maybe overhyped. I will agree. It's really good, but I will agree with you. Some people are starting to talk like it's a $80, $90 bottle, and I'm just like,
Okay.
no.
I mean, right now it's allocated,
DJ,
so it's like
Yeah.
Starlight double oak,
Yes.
underrated.
yes, and like if
Underrated.
when the Elijah Craig gets to what it's supposed to be, which what they originally said, which is readily available for
Right.
about $50 to $60,
Right?
I am all for it. But the fact that you have to camp out at Heaven Hill at 7 a.m. when they open at 11, and you
Nope.
might get one bottle for $75.
No.
No thanks.
No.
I'm going to take my 75, and I've got a lot of. I'll buy your. I'm going to go with your barrel proof for $75. I mean, Elijah Craig barrel proof for $75 all day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All day.
Well, gentlemen, I hate to do this. I probably need to bow out. I have a
We're
2-year-old
closing in on
daughter
30
that
hours,
is going to be up and ready to seize the day here in a few hours. And my wife covered me tonight, so I don't want her to have to cover me in the morning. So
Good to
Is
meet you, Brian.
absolutely fun. Great to meet you, Ed. Honestly, been a pleasure. It's been a great time. So I'm out.
All right.
And yeah, that's it.
Sounds
Power
good.
bourbon.
Bye, Brian.
All my glasses
See you
are
soon.
empty.
Yep.
See ya.
All right, later, guys.
That's as
All
it should
right.
be.
Exactly.
All right. So, guys, thanks for watching. It's been a great time. 3 hours, which is way longer than we have. Ed, stick around. We'll keep the show going after we end this live. But if you're interested, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button.
Absolutely.
Please join our Patreon. And heck, if you join Chuck's tier, you could be involved in the next time that we send samples like this. So, once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you. Yeah, there will be Old Carter in there. So
sweet.
Yep.
Oh,
We'll
whoa.
see you next time.
Awesome.